It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Do we have our water, Beezy?
Yes,
All
we
right.
do. Oh yeah.
That's your rap name or your hip hop name, Beezy.
I love it.
Just like books and body slams is just books. You're books on the streets, you're books.
I love that. I love that. Fucking has just books in a bag and just like, hiya!
Yeah. And she'll body slam you onto them.
Yeah. You see her like sitting up like a bunch of books and you're like, oh shit, someone's gonna get fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You like Hangman did Swerve.
Yes. Oh, before we go in, sorry, you've like totally like just unlocked this funny memory for me. Back when I was still watching WWE, Kevin Owens was having I can't remember who he was fighting actually, but it must have been a like a hardcore or no DQ match or something. Because he gets like a fuck ton of chairs and he just starts like setting them up and like this pyramid-y kind of type situation. And I'm like, every time the camera like panned to him, I was like, this is a thing of beauty. This man has done this before. This is like excellent fucking work. Like it's the structure is strong. I don't see anything like, I mean, he's going through it, but it's like beautiful craftsmanship. And then of course
you're going through it.
Yeah. But fuck, it was beautiful. It was perfectly. I've never seen anyone create anything like that before that's been that well done. He needs to like make classes or something. He also needs to leave WWE, but that's not a thing for now. Sorry, because I miss him. I miss him. All right. Let's not get too distracted. Yeah. He's so good.
All right. Let's get to it.
Oh, yeah.
Shall we?
Yeah.
I will give you a countdown.
Thank you.
Then it is showtime.
Woo!
And 5, 4, 3, 2, showtime.
And welcome everybody to Don't Call Me Diva. I am your host, Bex. Even though I have a strange aversion to being called a host, I don't quite know why. It just feels a little weird. But anyway, if you want to know more about me, check out episode 1 of this podcast. It's more of an intro. I go through my life and, well, not my life, but like my wrestling life. And I also run down the wrestlers currently in AEW roster, which is very interesting as well if you want to catch up. So check that out, episode 1. We are here to talk about the kick-ass world of women's professional wrestling, especially the women's roster of AEW. Every week, we'll go through what's happened in AEW and ROH, unless it's a pay-per-view week, and then it's going to be a lot more chaotic and a lot more longer, which is fun. I hope you really enjoyed last week's episode, because I know I had a lot of fun making it. Well, everyone had a lot of fun making it. It was fucking thing of beauty. Anyway, and then we will go back in time to the beginnings of AEW and talk about the journey until now. We will pick a wrestler from the past to chat about and perhaps put a different spin on some of their matches. In episode 1, oh shit, I'd already said that. In episode 1, we're going to repeat everything we just said in the entire intro and sound like a complete nude. All right. Oh yeah, okay. All right, we'll go again from after a different spin on some matches. None of this information can be gained from anywhere else in the entire world, especially not this thing called the internet. So thank fuck I am here, right? You can get all the information you could ever want on this roster right here. We live in kayfabe and Don't Call Me Diva, so things might get a little bit silly. It's going to be a lot of fun, and let's get into it. All right. So, I hope everyone enjoyed episode 3. Like I said, Brett Michelle here to talk about all the epicness of Revolution and all of our tangents in between. I hope you enjoyed the less ADHD hyper-focused script. I know I enjoyed reading it a lot more easier. I'm learning new things every day about what I want to discuss and how. I do love getting into the details, but I still want to be entertaining and not literally bore myself to tears. So it will be not as in depth as episode 2. She says having an episode 3 of 3 hours, but it is worth it, and it will not even feel like it. It's, it will fly by because it is that entertaining, and half of it is Revolution. So very, very fun. Speaking of, if you have a women's wrestler you would like to check out, you would like me to check out, please leave it in the comments. I have one today actually from a listener who left their comment on episode 1, which was cool. Their name is at G. Okay, I'm not quite too sure, so I'm just gonna say it out because it looks like Genosis. And that can't be it. So at GNOSIST00. See, I'm even reading it and I stumbled. And they suggested I check out Rachel Rose. And so I did. She is a wrestler whose nickname is Queen of House Rose. Off with her head is a vicious Kinshasa. We're not putting the. We are going to say Kinshasa. Kinshasa. All right.
It's like the DJ rewinding the record when somebody comes in out.
Nobody heard that? All right. Off with her head, a vicious oh shit. A vicious is because I've got vicious. A vicious off with her head, a Kinshasa. Why can I say it when I do it stupidly? All right, let's just do it stupidly. All right, if that's the only way it's going to come out of my mouth, we'll just do it stupidly. All right, back we go. Off with her head, a vicious Kinshasa, which is a running knee to the back of a sitting opponent's head. She is the first ever Deadlock Pro Women's. Oh shit! I knew I'd get this wrong because why do indie promotions have such long ass title names? Ugh, good grief! And I thought I was hyper focused. Okay, let's try that again. She is the first ever Deadlock Pro Women's Champion and the first ever New Texas Pro Women's Champion. Okay, that wasn't as long as I thought it was before I tried to get that out of my mouth. Shame on me. She has a cool as fuck handstand into a double knees to the gut. I watched 2 PWF matches. One of them was against Alejandra Quintanilla. I hope I said that mildly right. Quintanilla. I really apologize for my Spanish pronunciation. It is something I wanted to learn at some point, but I never quite got around to it. And because for some reason my mouth refuses to roll its R's, I get kind of in my mouth. It's really white of me and it's fucking annoying. But anyway, I can do Maori. See? Why can I do that? And I can't do shit. And I can't do Spanish. Who knows? Anyway, carrying on. And I saw one hardcore match against Shay Carmichael. A new Texas Pro Wrestling match versus Hanako from Stardom, who is a member of the faction Empress Nexus Venus, which is co-led by AEW fave Mia Shirakawa, which is cool. And I watched a fun tag match on Sabotage Wrestling. It was Rachel Rose and Gigi Ray versus Vixen and Lil Evil. Those matches were great. She's a really, really good wrestler. She's really, if I was, comparing people is kind of annoying, but you kind of got to do it to give someone a little bit of a picture, but don't like, replace Rachel, with this picture. But if I did have to compare her to someone, I'd say she reminds me of a combination between Chelsea Green and Ellie the Bunny. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the kind of vibes she was giving me. It was really, really fun, like looking into her. Like, if you ever come across like any of I watched all of this stuff on YouTube, all free. So you can all find those matches that I mentioned. Oh, excuse me. Every single one of them, like I said, I absolutely enjoyed. She's really entertaining and really precise. I like it. And she, has really good connection with the fans as well. It was the one against Alejandra, I think, where she came out and like literally all the people in the front row had all these roses for her and everything. It was quite, it's quite the thing. So so she's really, really cool. So yeah, keep an eye out for her in any of the other promotions. She'd do a little stuff here. It'd be really cool. Yeah. So like I said, if you have any other little suggestions for me, leave them in the comments. I would love to learn more about different wrestlers. So now it's time to dive into Dynamite. Da, 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 ba, 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 da, da. Okay, we just have a theme tune. We are in Fresno, California, and the crowd is hyped. And why wouldn't it be? I mean, why wouldn't they be? AEW is hot right now, and we're getting our new we are getting our new AEW International Champion Kenny Omega to the stage. So that would pump anyone up. Fire, pow, fireworks and Hannity everywhere. Kenny Omega is a gem and an absolute world treasure. Everyone must protect him at all costs, because if he goes, we're fucked. All right. Then we come to a stunning promo package of the entire storyline between Mariah May and Toni Storm. We get the iconic line from Toni Storm saying, "I see you in me." No, that's not what she said. She said, "I see me in you. And I love me." I love that line. That was so cool. As soon as the strings of her music hits, the crowd leaps to their feet and cheer. I am still stunned that we are getting to see Timeless so quickly after her battle with the woman from hell. Timeless comes out and she is looking like $1 million in her split-legged black sequined dress and amazing black and white shoes that give me like a Chicago gangster vibe. They're very, very cool shoes. Decked in her gold and her jewels, she's sporting matching staples and stitches. And apparently there is also still glass in her ass. So that must make sitting down very uncomfortable. Timeless takes her place at center stage under her spotlight and just looks magnificent. It's always a good time to see Toni Storm. I think she split her lip after she gave Mariah May the choke power bomb off the stage through the table. It was onto like a whole bunch of like equipment, and I wonder if, because it's not like, it's not like from her mouth around. It's kind of like more kind of like on the side. So it's like, I mean, maybe she had a Mick Foley moment and a tooth went through her mouth. But I think like something whipped back at her or some kind of shit. That was a nasty one. Like, it's all good. Like, when you're, like in it to like, right, I'm going to do this and I'm just going to get bloody and it's fine. But then when like you have like a random thing just comes and like whips you in the face and leaves you it's big fucking scar, you're like, well, that was rude. Can really put you off your game. But she did well. And it didn't swell up, which was interesting. So anyway, that's enough of that. Timeless speaks of her triumphs, new beginnings, and her pride at being our AEW Women's Champion. It does seem like she is now in the next phase of her journey, which is, as Brett Michelle and I were talking about in the last episode, is kind of on the trajectory that we were kind of hoping that she would go on. So I'm very excited. She calls this roster the most talented roster roster in wrestling. I absolutely agree with our world champ, 100%. This is, as you know, why Don't Call Me Diva was even created only 4 episodes ago. It was a glimmer in absolutely nobody's eyes until a wonderful post was made and birth was created. Anyway, we're not talking about me. We're talking about the champ. The champion is framed beautifully in her spotlight, and it's this piece of like cinematic just beautifulness, because in the tunnels in the background where the heels and faces come out of, you can see Timeless's like the back of her like just perfectly reflected like in both of them. It was just gorgeous. I loved watching it through like the second time, because then I could just like absolutely absorb like what I was watching. It was absolutely gorgeous. I'm drawn back because Timeless has laid down a challenge to all who wish to tussle in the ring with the tramp who still is the champ. I wrote the tramp who still is the tramp, and that might be true, but that is not the saying. It is the champ, no, the tramp who still is the champ. I'm going to stop saying that now because I can't say it properly. So yeah, building up the individual stories and the individual characters of the women's roster with this is going to be like a lot of fun. Like that's going to be so much fun. Like instantly after she said this, I got real giddy and I started like imagining all like the current feuds, like who was going to step up first. Like she did call out. Did she do this before? Did she do this after? Okay, I'm going to finish that thought after we get into this, because it may have been afterwards. But anyway, because I am quickly jolted back into reality once again in the past and also in real life, because Megan Bain just kapows Timeless from behind, absolutely knocking her out, and just leaves her laying on the stage, because that was a fucking cheeky little maneuver, Missy. You may be big and statuesque and strong and talented, but these little attacks from behind are beneath you, woman. Okay? And just because you stand there being so, standing there strong and absorbing the booze and being very happy with yourself, I think you better check your morals, woman. All right, that's enough of that. So we moved on from that moment, because we just get dragged into another promo from Chris Jericho, which I will take one tiny little moment to say it wasn't the shittest promo from him in recent years. It was actually quite intriguing and entertaining. So yeah. Anyway, moving on. We get Penelope Ford versus Willow. Woo! This I am very excited about. 2 outstanding wrestlers. So good. I love both of them. The funky beat of Willow's music kicks in and it smiles all around, because no matter what, Willow is going to kill you with her smile. Willow is in her white boots and her royal blue gear, which has the gold over it, which is very good, which is actually kind of a little bit like Megan Bain's in a way, but it's just like the like obviously the colors are different, the sizes of the patterns are different. Don't get caught up in the details, but it they look similar. Could you imagine Bane and Willow? Like if Willow turns to do you think Willow could ever turn to the dark side? Remember when she got sprayed by like Julia, and she kind of was, and the crowd was all like, I don't know if I like this. My happy Willow, and then it kind of just went blah, and then all of a sudden she was like, I'm good, everything's fine. Like, dark Willow and Bane, that would be unstoppable. Give me the fucking tag champions, okay? Right now. Anyway, totally waffling off again. Next, the rock and roll masterpiece of Penelope's Super Bad Girl music hits. We still don't have the lyrics, but we'll move on. She is in her black fluffy jacket, her oversized black sunglasses, which I absolutely love, and I will keep saying that because it's such a cool little look, and her red and black gear, which is so fucking cool. I love like the design of it. It's all like gothy and cool, and it's just cool. Willow has yet to beat Ford in a match, which I was actually quite surprised about. But then when I think about it, Ford was out for like a really, really long time. And Willow has she kind of came in like maybe like a little bit before like Penelope went off. So yeah, that actually kind of would make sense. But we'll see what happens. Willow has been fighting a lot of tough matches. And like, as I just said, Penelope's just recently returned and she could go a lot differently this time. But, Penelope is coming back with vengeance. So, hey, who knows what's going to happen? As the women go to lock up, it's a trap. Penelope goes to kick Willow in the gut, but a smarter Willow stops the kick. And after some flailing slaps, after some flailing slaps from Penelope, she ends up dragging her into a side headlock. So not that great there. But Willow did counter. And then it's all Willow from there. Holy crap. Once fucking Willow gets that headlock on Penelope, poor Penelope, she just gets whipped. Penelope counters eventually, as she can, but she's just not able to defend against the power of Willow because Willow's power level has skyrocketed. It's insane. Willow lifts her up into a power slam, which is rough, and then pins her with a crossbody off the ropes. Woo! Willow does her cute little, her cute as fuck little pin pose, like when she does a little, thing on her chin. She's like, hey, I just crossbodied this person and they just happened to be in a pin. Look at me. Absolutely adorable. I know I'm sounding sarcastic, but I'm not. I swear I'm not. But what it gains in cuteness, it lacks in effectiveness. And Ford easily kicks out before the 3. Willow does stay on Penelope, and soon Ford finds her face being introduced to the turnbuckle multiple times. Woo! That was insanity. With a boot, Penelope can stop it for a moment. She got her foot up just very slightly, but after a sassy chop to the chest, Willow's like, and she grabs her head and she slams her into the turnbuckle a couple of more times. Throwing Penelope into the middle of the ring, Willow suplexes her for another pin, but Penelope still kicks out at 2. She's like, this is not going to defeat me. I am still going to get out of this. When Willow tried to knock Ford down with a lariat, Penelope avoids it with her own special, flexible way. No, fuck. I was doing so well and then I blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to do that whole line again because that was stupid. Whew. All right, go again. When Willow tried to knock Ford down with a lariat, Penelope avoids it in her own special way, and she gets herself into a backwards bridge, which is so impressive. Every time I see that, I'm like, I wish I could do that. I know you have to be a wrestler and your back must hurt, but I feel like if you could stretch like that, surely that's going to help. As my back creaks. It's so old. Anyway, as the camera pans, Penelope basks in her magnificent, and Willow is finding it hard to catch her breath. Oh shit, sorry, out of it again. What have I done? What have I done with this sentence? What have I done? All right, I'm back with it. I remember I wrote, we're just going to write that in. That's an as, not an and. There we go. All right, I'm back with it. Back in the zone. Okay. Shit, I've lost the sentence. Oh, no, I found it again. All right. Willow is finding it hard to catch her breath on the outside, and soon she finds herself hurtling towards the ring steps with a nasty thud that echoes everywhere. Ooh, that can't be good for her recovery. Penelope is reveling in the punishment after suffering the earlier beating. She's like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And whether or not that's going to do it, who knows? But she seems pretty confident. Keeping the fight on the outside was not the best idea for Ford, though, because having to break the count made her vulnerable to Willow, who was able to get the upper hand with some heavy shots to Ford's body as she was coming back to the outside from breaking the pin. Ford can take some punishment, though, and was able to fight back and threw Willow back into the ring. So, with the crowd chanting for Willow, Penelope continues her attack and soon gets Willow in a vicious surfboard stretch. Speaking English, digging her knee deep into Willow's back. Oh, that can't be good. Willow uses her upper body strength to get herself out of the surfboard stretch, which is insane, but she's not out of trouble. Ford eventually gets a rear choke onto Willow, and that brings Willow down to her knees, but not out, as the power of the crowd is still chanting, and they are rallying behind Willow, and she is able to get to her feet. Willow bounces off the ropes, plows through Penelope with a giant clothesline, and with Penelope down, Willow hits her with a senton right on the knee. Fuck me! That had to, come on. We're talking about Dark Willow here. A senton off the ropes onto a knee? Pretty fucking dastardly deeds of violence. Penelope screams in agony, and Willow goes to the pin, but Penelope still kicks out. So she's still going. Penelope has had enough though, and she rolls Willow up for a quick pin because she's probably like, fuck, I can get out of that pin, but I don't know what else I'm going to be able to do. So if I just quickly roll this chick up, use my veteran knowledge, we may be able to get out of this. But Ford is unsuccessful. Mad as hell, Penelope lines Willow up and gives her a stiff kick, which had to have hurt Penelope as well because she put everything into that. Now, on the middle rope, Penelope goes for her rope choke, but a wiggly Willow makes it very difficult to lock in, and she has to release the choke early because the ref is pretty much already at a 5 count. Continuing to hang Willow over Brett's healing rope of power, which would be her undoing, unfortunately. But for now, Penelope uses it to pull against Willow's throat. First into the top rope, leaving Willow to... throat first. Gotcha, not throat and then first. Okay. We're going to have to go whoop and go backwards. To Penelope uses it to pull. No. Anyway. Penelope uses it and... Oh, shit. I fucked myself up with my own stupid joke. Jesus Christ. All right, let's carry on again. Penelope uses that rope and pulls Willow throat first into the top rope, leaving Willow to slump down to the bottom rope. Gathering enough power, Willow counters Penelope with a hard chop to the chest because remember, she had that little moment on Brett's healing rope of power. Told you it was going to be her undoing. And Penelope, the chop. The chop to the chest of Penelope, and it completely stops Ford's momentum, as you would. It's stopped Ford's forward momentum. Willow then goes on a flurry of offense, throwing her into the corner and then off the ropes for Willow's impressive spine buster into a pin. Now we are sidebarring into a little moment about the spine buster. Nothing technical. I'm just going to gush about the spine buster. I fucking love the spine buster. Oh my God. Arn Anderson as a character, we're being honest. I was boring, and when he was in WCW when I was a kid, I was because he was just so red meat, white guy. He could talk and stuff, but it was all shit that I was a Kiwi kid. I was. I still am. I'm Kiwi and fucking I don't know any of this fucking stuff. This shit doesn't resonate with me. But fuck me. Woo! That's a lot of swears in one little go. His spine buster was as everyone knows, was a thing of beauty. And just ever since then, it just impresses me so much that when I see someone else do like fucking Dax, of course, he is an amazing spine buster. It's so good. Powerhouse Hobbs, Powerhouse. Okay, we're not going to do that. He has an amazing spine buster as well, and it's just so impressive. Like when they get them up in the pop and then like at the bang, so cool. There's another one move that I really love when it's done well, but the name of it is like left my head. So there's every other moment for sidebar, but yeah. What got me onto that was that Willow has an amazing fucking spine buster. Woo! Like really up there, beautiful. So even though after that spine buster, she got Penelope a high stack on her shoulders, she was still able to kick at it too. I think perhaps maybe the high stack fucked her over. Who else messed themselves over with doing a high stack pin? I think it was something in ROH. I think it might have been Catalina. I can't remember, but doing that, pinning them really high on their shoulders is not the best idea, but I understand momentum, what are you going to do? But it gave her the ability to just like with her legs, and she was able to get out because, like I said before, she can take a lot of punishment, which is insane because she's tiny, but she can take a lot of fucking punishment. So as Penelope has kicked out of this, she does try to actually fight back, but she doesn't quite have the enough strength to give Willow what she needs to get her down, which is unfortunate. Willow gets her stuck in a gory special submission, and because of Ford's flexibility, Willow was able to wrench Penelope pretty damn far to the point that I don't think people were even aware that Willow had such a move on Penelope because she is so flexible. It just you put her in any position and it kind of looks, fine. But she pulled her so hard that her head was over her shoulders, and she just she meaning Willow, grabbed her around the fucking neck and strangled her down. Was insane. That would have hurt because her back of her shoulder, the back of her neck would have been pressed against her shoulders. Oh my god, that would have been rough. But Penelope was able to think on her feet, and with no other way out, Penelope just turns her face and grabs Willow's head, and she just starts biting her. Why wouldn't you? I would. It's right there. But this just pisses Willow off. And Willow powers her into the corner, places her on the top turnbuckle. Ford does fraud and tricks Willow and puts a modified Jujutami onto Willow's arm, actually, with the assistance of gravity. And so what this basically is so Ford is on the top ropes, right? She loves to use gravity and the ropes against her opponents. So she's grabbed Willow's arm, and then she's just falling backwards. So she's hanging backwards like a vampire bat off the top rope, and she has Willow's arm, and Willow's just but unfortunately, because it does use the ropes, it's an illegal hold, and she has to let go of it before the ref gets to 5. All right, she's going to be disqualified, which, I mean, is that actually a bad thing? If you're a heel, getting disqualified is actually probably, a good thing. Anyway, as Willow shakes it off in the middle of the ring, Penelope flies at Willow for a crossbody into the pin, which is pretty damn, what's the word? I want to say ballsy, but that's not the word I was thinking of. Brain's gone crazy. I can't think of what it is. But we'll just go with that, which was pretty ballsy because Willow was, not that out. And so she was able to easily kick out at 2. Penelope gets all licky, which bursts Willow into action because she ain't into all that licky, and she picks Ford up and slams her into the corner and then down to the mat with a power slam and a pin. But Ford is still kicking, and she is out by 2. Which absolutely surprises Willow at this point because she was like, God damn, I thought that would definitely do it. And she took a moment to recover. But Penelope grabs her and pulls her in for another cheeky roll-up, because remember, Penelope went to go do that before, which, is a fair thing to do. I mean, Timeless Toni Storm won all of her matches when she came back as rookie with a roll-up. If you're in a sticky situation and you got to go for it. But it didn't work, because Willow still wasn't down enough. So the women end up fighting it out in the middle of the ring. Penelope gets the upper hand with her amazing Matrix Stunner. But when she goes in for the second one, Willow's like, hell no, and pushes forward to the ropes as she comes off. Whoa, shit. Sorry. What was I saying? Ooh, going back. Willow says, hell no, and pushes forward to the ropes. And as she comes off, Willow gets her with the pounce. Now that is going to give us a 1 and a 2 and a 3. And Willow gets her first win on Penelope. Just like that. Woo! We see that Willow has taken some hits to the mouth because she's bleeding. So a big bloody smile beams across Willow's face as the ref raises her arm in victory. But if you can notice to the side of the screen, Penelope was grabbing something very steel chair shaped from underneath the ring. Turns out that's exactly what it was, because Penelope was planning to use it to slam into Willow. And as she gets into the ring, she winds up and hits Willow in the gut. Then with another big swing, Penelope brings it down onto Willow's back, which kind of came off as more of a warning shot to Willow, because it doesn't seem like she put everything into that. Maybe she was like, I don't really want to take you completely out, but just know that if I could have, I would have, that little in the back of her head kind of thing. That's just what I think. Who the fuck is what I think? Throwing down the chair, Penelope starts laying brutal kicks into Willow, putting her absolute everything into them. Then, as Penelope pounds onto Willow with absolutely no intention of stopping, Statlander's music hits and the crowd goes wild as she tears it to the ring. Penelope tries to fight Chris off with the chair, but she ends up getting it drop kicked into her face by Chris Statlander, and Penelope goes down. Chris kicks her out of the ring, and then she goes to check on Willow, who, as you remember from last time we talked about this, Chris apologized to her, but Willow, she accepted it kind of, but she was like, I accept your apology, but I haven't forgotten what you've done. Woo! So Willow and Chris, they, as I said, they were good friends, but Statlander broke her trust. And as Statlander goes to check on Willow turns around, she sees her, and she kind of thinks oh fuck, is this going to be happening again? Is my friend turning on me? Well, not even a friend. Is this woman who said she's my friend turning on me again? But no. Statlander is explaining to Willow that she was not here to fight her, and it does kind of seem like Willow may have been listening to her. Obviously Willow's also taken off guard with the whole beating from Penelope afterwards, but it does kind of seem because Chris is standing there I absolutely swear I am here to help you, but they're so caught up with each other that neither of them had noticed that the resident assassin was gunning for them as quick as lightning, and Megan Bain was in the ring and barreled through Chris and Willow with a double clothesline before they could even realize what was coming at them. The crowd boo again, because once again, this marvelous woman has just completely blindsided people again. Very Healy, I get that, but the crowd boo, as I said, and Megan Bain smirks. She grabs Chris Statlander and gets her onto her shoulders, and with a bow down, boom, hits her with her finishing move. More boos, and Bain basks in the glory of her achievements. I just think she likes to make everyone cry. And thirst traps. So she likes to torture people. Oh. Okay. She likes to torture people. Everything is explained. We can move on. Quick drinky break.
You might be on to something with this torture people thing.
Right? That just
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm with you.
Mm-hmm. And what she does to Thunder Rosa and like their match, she was fucking going for those ribs again. She's a nasty little bitch. Woo!
Yep.
Not a bitch, but I would never say that publicly because I don't want that coming to me. No, thank you, thank you. But yeah, right. We're gonna keep an eye on that. Put a pin in that. Alrighty. We pan out from this to the remarkable Renee Paquette, the woman who has a lot to answer for herself, let's say. But even though she still looks fantastic in her pink pants and pink shiny top, her silver sparkled belt is back. But not even that is going to get her off the hook and from my side eye. She is the woman with the scoops and the most direct line to mock, so lady gets the side eye. Still love her, but side eye. Our TBS champion, Mercedes Monet, is gracious enough to grace us with her presence, even though she can hardly speak with her bruised throat. Okay, sidebar. Fuck me, that must hurt. A bruised, like, larynx throat thing? Jiminy crickets. You have no idea how much you swallow in a day until you have a fucking sore ass throat. Let me tell you that. Woo! A nasty bruise lays on Monet's jaw, but the CEO looks fabulous in her pinky purple and black hair and her gorgeous outfit. Honestly, wherever she gets her things from, they just look amazing on her. Renee gets given the duty of speaking for the CEO, and soon we get an appearance from a Billy Starks. Her purple hair is in two little cute buns, and she's wearing this, like, I think they call it like a spaghetti strap white sparkly dress with pink cartoon flowers on it. No awkward school portrait pose to the camera this time, which I actually now miss. Mercedes has asked her to show up. Look at me, surprised by my own information. And she wants her to explain her suspicious actions. Fair. And with Renee and the cameras and everyone involved, good little security. It seems like Billy has had her eyes set on Mercedes TBS championship. The woman, has high, I'm high. No, don't put that in. It's not legal here, so don't put that in. Fucking hell, I can't say shit like that. Oh, dear. Okay. Stark's confidence is sky high, and she really thinks that she has the skill to take it from Mercedes Monet. Mercedes is so mad by the arrogance of this youngin' that she fights through the pain in her throat and scolds Billy, but she accepts the fight. Fair enough. Renee gives Starks a little shenanigans are ensuing look, and we fade to the ring. So she's been working on her looks. So that was all of the women's action of Dynamite. It was a brilliant episode. A lot of stuff got, kind of extended. I do hope that Timeless isn't too caught up with Bane. Because I personally don't want that match to happen so quickly, just for me. I think that Bane and Statlander has a lot more meat in the storyline. So that's kind of a more thing that I'm more interested in at the moment. I really do want Timeless to be challenging the entire locker room. But I mean, at the same time, as like world champion, you kind of have to, stand up if you want to be a good person, you kind of have to stand up when people are just barreling through everyone, no matter how statuesque and gorgeous they may look while they're doing it. Okay, so next in the little segments I have here, I have Ring of Honor. I don't know why I said it like that, but let's just keep this in because it was awkward. And we're just going to move on to it because people have awkward moments. We are twice blessed tonight. Not only is the absolute banger that is the ROH intro tune, it is coming through my it's just getting worse, is in oh dear. The ROH intro tune is amazing and I'm listening to it again. Okay. I can't get over how really, really awesome it is. Like, just as a tune, like, put it on, it's a banger. And we are also getting a badass promo about Layla Gray, like one of those little pre-made packages things. It's really, really cool. We learned that she trained at New Japan Pro Wrestling's LA dojo, which I did not know. And she competed in bodybuilding, which I also didn't know. She is ready to take on 2025, and I am here for it because I love me some Layla Gray. She is ridiculously talented and very strong, like deceptively strong. But now with that whole bodybuilding and LA dojo stuff, that makes a lot of sense. Because, you know, like if you train with New Japan and even Stardom and those kind of things, like, it's different. It's real different. It's not like carny different, but it's like way heavier, way more intense than any kind of other ones. It's really, really good though. I think we have one here up in Auckland. I might be completely making shit up now, but I think we may do. Anyway, moving on. So I have seen like a few of Layla Gray matches on AEW, which is brilliant. There were a lot of her stuff on Dark. Like, she did a lot of Dark matches as well. So I've been and I was a avid watcher of Dark and Dark Elevation because they had a lot of women's stuff on it, and it was just really wonderful to see her in 2025 how she is now. Like, just watch the little journeys they all take. Oh, I love doing that. Like, just fills my heart with joy. So this is the first time I'm watching an ROH match of hers, and she is facing the queen of murder gymnastics, Miss Lady Frost. Layla Gray's music is a bop, and I think she sings on it herself. Like, it sounds like her. She comes out in a very gorgeous lilac two-piece that has tassels on it, and she's also part of the Top Flight faction. You know, we're going for him. Those guys. It's Lady Frost and her wolf's head cloak, which is so cool. I love how it just looks redonkulously fake, because I'm not about like real fur and shit like that, but I love me a fake. I love me a fakey. Oh, and we want to say happy birthday to Miss Frost for last week. Oh, crap. That reminds me that there was another. Oh, am I remembering? Who was it? Was it Shotzi? I think Shotzi had a birthday too. I mean, I don't watch it, but yay, happy birthday, Shotzi. Handshake's done. The women tie up, but it's Frost who gets the upper hand. Layla comes back strong, but she runs into two arm drags. Oh, yeah, she does. And she's taken off her feet. Taking a moment to recompose, they return to combat. Lady Frost gets Layla in a waistlock, but Layla quickly counters and ragdolls Frost to the mat, holding on to the waistlock while she's still down there. Lady Frost attempts to roll Layla onto a pinning predicament to make her release the hold, but Layla isn't going to get out of that easy. No. Oh, shit. We're just going to do that whole thing again because I fucked that whole thing up. All right. Lady Frost then attempts to roll Layla into a pinning predicament to make her release the hold. But Layla easily got out of 3 simply by rolling back over. Needing to change tactic, Lady Frost puts all of her energy into getting to her feet, But not even that could break Layla's waistlock, and soon Lady Frost finds herself in a side headlock, which is not a better predicament. Nothing Lady Frost can do will get her out of this tight headlock situation until a stiff shot to the gut takes Layla by surprise and she releases the hold. Lady Frost decides to play it back and puts Layla in a tight side headlock of her own. Cheeky. Layla's got some stiff rib shots. No. Do it again. Layla got in some stiff shots to ribs of frost, and Lady Frost released the chunk. Running the ropes, they avoided each other's attacks until Lady Frost gets caught by Layla and she wrangles Frost into a backslide for a pin. I love it when they do that. It just looks so cool. Lady Frost can get out of most tricky situations, so this pin was only going to go to 2. The 2 women go back at it, and Layla knocks Frost to one knee with some nasty kicks, setting her up for a drop kick. Frost retreats to the corner, and the moment from the... Oh, shit. Sorry. Going backwards. I'm doing better. I'm letting a whole lot of shit just ramble out of my mouth, too.
Let it fly.
Exactly. That's just what I thought. Unless it's like really, unless it's like really fucked up or like I say something illegal.
That's some of the funny stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's the personality coming out.
Yeah. Just leave it in.
Oh shit. No. And I like the fact that this is why I said like you're good at what you do. Because I noticed when I was editing like the callbacks to episode 1, and some of the callbacks were mistakes initially. Like for boats Monet. Yeah. That's like that's a thing now.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean? Like that's a thing now. So it's like
Monet now has a side quest for 4 boats.
4 boats or 4 boats.
Exactly. If she loses a boat, will she lose a boat?
Right. Will she
Stay
be
tuned.
making the same amount of Monet? We don't know.
We don't know. We will find out. Watch the space. Oh, shit. All right. Where did I have to start from again? I'm going to start from the 2 women go back at it. Yeah, we'll go from there. The 2 women go back at it, and Layla knocks Frost to one knee with some nasty kicks, setting her up for a drop kick. Frost retreats to the corner, and within a moment... Oh, shit, I did it again. Frost retreats to the corner. With the moment... Oh, okay. Let's just quickly... write that in a better way, and then I'll be able to actually say that sentence properly. Ta-da! Okay. We'll just go from the Frost retreats. Frost retreats to the corner from the momentum from the kick that Layla gathers from the power from the cheering fans. They're cheering crayons. No, they're cheering fans in the middle of the ring. So are you with me now? She's gathering the power from the cheering fans in the middle of the ring. Okay? And Frost is in the corner because of the momentum that Layla gave her. Right? Same page? Awesome. Layla stomps on Frost and gives her some forearm shots to the chest. Yeah, just for good measure. This activates Lady Frost and she powers out of the corner, throws Layla into the corner and lays a brutal chop to Gray's chest that echoed around the arena. Once more, Frost gives Layla another sharp chop to the chest, but fucks up royally by taking a moment to gloat about it. And by the time she goes to give Layla a 3rd chop, Layla's like, meh, and counters and gives Frost her own sharp chop to the chest. That sends Lady Frost flying. Oh, she did not like that. Oh, no, she did not. Layla comes at her hard with some chops to the chest in the corner, but Frost still counters because she's super goddamn tough, and the 2 women exchange chops until Frost gets Layla with a short spear that plants Layla in the corner. Like that short spear looked Oh, that looked rough. Like that was kaboof, like right into the corner. Frost gives Gray another short spear, and Layla is struggling to breathe. I mean, I'm struggling to breathe just like talking about it. Frost whips Gray into the opposite corner and races at her. Layla has recovered some more and quickly evacuates the corner. Now it is Frost who is in the shed. Layla Gray kicks Frost with a pop-up knee to the chin. Dazed, Frost cannot escape the bulldog and she goes down hard onto her face. Did I tell everyone last time how much I love the bulldog? Oh, I love the bulldog. That would be one of my moves, in my fantasy wrestling world. Be a bulldog, and I can't think of the other ones off the top of my head, so we're just going to move on to that, or else we're just going to be hearing me go for like 6 hours. Layla has a modified grip on Frost's neck with the bulldog, and she quickly gets Frost in a dragon sleeper, dead in the middle of the ring. This was such a good idea. I've never seen anyone do that with a bulldog. Woo! It was really, really smart. Frost proves how tough she is, though, and she's able to form a plan whilst in a dragon sleeper, if you can believe it. She once again uses her flexibility and strength, and she rolls Layla onto her shoulders, and Gray has to release the hold, or else she's going to get pinned. See, remember this, people. If you were in a tricky situation on the floor, roll. Just roll. You never know what could happen. Could be good, could be bad, but you're in a bad situation anyway. Just roll. On fire, roll. Being choked, roll. That's probably about it, but Layla, what did Layla do? Layla came. Sad? No. What? All right. I can't think this one now. Layla. Oh. Layla comes set. What are we talking about? Layla comes at Frost fast, finding herself in a pinning predicament not of her favor. And Gray tries to roll Frost onto her shoulders, trying the little move against her. It is enough to break the pin, but Gray can't get Frost onto her shoulders, and soon she finds herself in a pinning situation again. Both women let go when Gray kicks out at 2, but it's Gray who gets the upper hand first and attempts to do her butterfly move, but I'm not quite too sure what that is, but is unsuccessful, empowering Lady Frost up. And it is Frost who manages to powerlift Gray over her head, and Gray lands to the mat with a thud. Ooh, Gray. Ooh, lands on her hip. Oh, it was rough. But she does get up and she runs miraculously at Lady Frost. But Frost ducks her clothesline, hits the ropes, flies at Gray, gets her in the mush with her flying shoulder tackle into the pin. But as fucked as she is, Layla Gray still kicks out at 2. She is not giving up. This woman is just like, nope, I've got the power of the crowd. I've got the power of everything behind me. Layla retreats into the corner, breathing heavily now, but she's good. Frost gathers power in the middle of the ring from somewhere. I don't know. She must have like a secret little stash of it somewhere, because the crowd were definitely not on her side. Frost walks over to Layla, steps on the middle ropes, and just casually kicks her right in the face. It's a beautiful kick, by the way, but whoo, vicious. Layla goes down heavy in the corner. Ooh, real rough. It looks like Frost is setting up for snowball fight, which is very cool. And it actually turns out she indeed is. And I was sitting there going, okay, Gray's going to move. Gray's totally going to move. It's going to be all good. But nah, Frost just landed it perfectly. Gray must have been totally out after that, because that was a perfect snowball fight right to the face. And Frost thinks so too, because she moves her out the corner and she climbs to the top rope. But Layla is not actually as groggy as what we all think, and in no time can gather her balance enough to run at Frost, and which causes Frost to abandon her top rope move, which is good because she's vicious up there. The two women do a violent tango in the middle of the ring with some fancy footwork. Layla Gray gets Frost in a tight little roll up, and with a 1 and a 2 and a 3, Layla Gray gets her first win over Lady Frost, and the crowd goes wild. Woo! Layla Gray rolls out of the ring, absolutely ecstatic. We we pan over to Lady Frost, and she is pissed. So that is all we have on Ring of Honor this week. Everything else was, a bunch of sweaty men. Don't know why we just had one this week and then we had like 3 last week, which was great, but it's obviously not consistent, and that's fine. But that match was great. It seems like, we're doing a little Layla Gray promotion-y kind of push now, which is brilliant. It's really, really good. Because she is so freaking talented, and she's so freaking hot. But that is beside the point. That is beside the point. I love Layla Gray because she is a talented, wonderful woman who is super fucking hot. So, woo! Go me. I just find I just win all around, really. Okay. The next thing we are doing in our little tour of AEW this week is Collision. And we are in Las Vegas, which with AEW always makes me go, oh dear. But this Las Vegas venue is freaking cool. What did you guys think of it? I thought it was awesome. I'm loving all these different kind of arenas that AEW are going to, and the haters are going to be like, well, we need to, I totally prefer like watching as like a viewer, like in these cool little like different things, and then they have to set up the ring all differently, and I know, I just like it. It's not like generic cookie cutter stuff. It looks really cool, and you know what's even great? The Las Vegas crowd were really good. Like, they were having fun. They were getting involved. They weren't trying to get themselves over as a whole group. There were a couple, but you always get that. They were actually being really good. So thank you, Las Vegas, from a humble Kiwi living down here in Aotearoa, New Zealand. I thank you for being a wonderful, wonderful crowd, because if there's nothing more freaking annoying than being a viewer and having to deal with a smarky ass crowd. It's like, yeah, we know. It's really shitty. It's really, really shitty. But you guys were great. Woo! Go you! Fucking candy bars all around. Whatever one you want. I don't think we start, but we start our Collision coverage with the Timeless promo with a lurking Luther. And she is calling out Bane. We kind of knew this was going to come. So she calls out Bane after that whole other scenario. Okay, so there we go. Thunder Rosa. Oh, what am I doing? Thunder Rosa is pissed? Thunder Rosa is pissed. But we were talking about something else. Why are we on Thunder Rosa is pissed? Oh, okay. So apparently that was just left up to me to elaborate on. Well, fine, pass me. I will do that. So she is calling out Bane. It is a brilliant promo. I think one of the main reasons why I didn't write anything else down is perhaps maybe, not to take all of her good lines and actually be like, go out and, watch it yourself, because it's great. But Timeless is calling out Bane, as we expected. And she is not taking any of this shit that Bane is inflicting on the women's roster. So as I predicted earlier, drink break. And the wibble. Okay. Oh, tissue break. I'm just going to mute you so you don't have to hear me sniff. Excellent. All right. What was I talking about? Did I finish my sentence? We'll never know. Sorry, I just came back from a little drink break. It was like 10 seconds.
I would say if we're not sure, go ahead and repeat it just to be on the safe side.
Oh no, that was all coming out of my head. So we might just have to add in
Oh yeah.
brain fart. Moving on.
Hey, that's what editing is for. Nobody will ever know.
They'll never know. They'll never know. All right. However that ended. Oh, all right. And so we're going to get that. We'll see what happens. Watch this space. Thunder Rosa, on the other hand, is pissed and declares to us all that she has bigger ovaries than Megan's brain cells, apparently. And I had to be like, I'm sorry, what? I have never heard someone say anything like that. And I am down with, not that, having big ovaries would be a good thing. I'm sure that would be like very painful, but that is funny. Ovaries and brain cells. Oh, I love it. She could have just said she had a smooth brain, but Megan's not dumb. She bigger ovaries than Megan's brain cells. Love it. Thunder lays into Bane about all of her ambushes that she's been doing on the wrestlers, I should say, and her sneaky but very violent attacks on Timeless Tony Storm. Thunder did not appreciate our world champion being disrespected in such a way, and she was going to teach Bane a lesson. I was like, damn, girl, yeah, you do it. You stick up for your world champion. I'm like, okay. So for some reason, I never was fully 100% behind Thunder Rosa, her character. I couldn't tell you why. It's along the same lines as why I will forever stand by my statements that Hologram is the most suspicious piece of, something, and there's something going on there, and I do not trust that man. But I don't know why. But after this promo that she did, I don't know, I just got really behind her. I was like, yeah, Thunder Rosa, gunning for second hero of the roster. Whoa. So I'm liking this, I like changing my minds on people. It's great. But none of her passion in this promo could save her from the blatant Pearl Harbor that was heading her way. And Bane just leaves Thunder Rosa on the ground, just pummels right at her. And you can see Thunder's holding her ribs, and she is in a lot of pain. That Bane, once again, going for those little tricksy injuries, messing with your mind. Go back to thinking about torture. Will she be able to take revenge on Bane tonight? Will she even be able to compete? I mean, we've seen wrestlers come out with taped out ribs before and get the win, but has anyone been is it sadistic when you want to inflict something on someone else? Have we seen anyone as sadistic as Megan Bane before in the women's division in this kind of way? No, I think not. An update comes from Thunder Rosa a few matches into Collision, and she is way more pissed than before and is not going to let any sort of injury to her ribs stop her from fighting Bane. So it looks like we are still going ahead. Woo! Hologram for only, we're going to go back to that sentence. I was not expecting the next thing I said. Hologram graces us with her presence, and the only reason why I shall accept that suspicious hologram's existence, she seems to be watching that sussy bucker backstage. At Dynamite, we were blessed with the gift that was Hologram during a tag match involving the Hollow One. She didn't interfere. She was very good. She was just providing encouragement from the outside. The only time she did step in was to protect her other Graham persona from Beast Mortals. She stopped him in his tricks with a very sensual dance that I think short-circuited the Beast Mortals' brain, because he just stood there for ages, and it was like, ooh. So, is there something building there? We have little seeds of beast grams, Mortos gram. We'll work on that. Okay, so I have little sidebar. I have loved Beast Mortos since I saw him in AAA as Black Taurus. I was like, okay, for one, that's a really fucking cool name, and two, as everyone can absolutely see by watching him on AEW, he is so fucking cool. Oh man, like his moves are just astounding. He's so good. Like his tope with the twists through the rings is the rings. We're not Sonic through the ropes is like. Oh, it's a thing of beauty. It's absolutely brilliant. And I think Harley Graham has wormed their little way into the Beast's mind. Mm-hmm. I don't know why we sound like Yoda right there. We actually joke Yoda. Any Game Grumps fans in the crowd here? Anyway, we're not going there. Megan Bain's music hits and she comes out in all her glory. As I've said before many, many times, Megan's gear makes her look iconic, and just like her stature and everything, it's just like she's just like a walking statue of a Greek goddess, but like not one that's there to like seduce you, one that's there to like turn you into dust while she basks in the glory, because she's wearing her blue gear again, and her white cape is just so freaking white. And her headpiece, as of course, is on, and gosh, she's so fucking cool. Megan is unbothered as always and full of confidence in herself. I don't think she feels like anyone is going to be able to teach her a lesson. And I don't think she thinks there's going to be there will be zero consequences for any of her actions, and for that I say, enjoy it while it lasts, Megan Bain. Because this is, others have tried to do a very similar thing and they got their asses handed to them. So, bask in it while you can. Thunder Rosa comes out and she's in her red and white two-piece battle outfit, but her ribs are real heavy taped. Like, well, not like taped, but like bandaged like real badly. Like her entire midsection is bandaged up. Thunder Rosa has these cool little shorts that she's got the sides cuts out of them, and they have these little strappy things. They're so fucking cool. They're wicked. We have some no nonsense half face paint going on. And even though she's clutching her ribs, she is still mad as hell, and she is storming to that ring with determination. Bane starts off like a cocky bully, but once Thunder Rosa backs her into a corner with two beautiful drop kicks, Megan Bain's expression absolutely changes. Thunder beats onto Bane with more kicks and sharp chops, taking all the fight out of Bane, and all she could do was defend, which was really good. Like, Thunder Rosa has some sharp as fuck chops. One day I want to do like a rundown of like the heaviest chops of the women, because this is a women's podcast, but maybe in like some other way of like everyone, there are some great ones. Like, sidebar, Jay White has like brilliant chops. Roderick Strong has amazing chops. Those are brutal. That one's just coming to my mind because he made like Dex's chest bleed like the other night. That's all that's coming to my head right now. That was completely off the top of my head, so we're not diving into that right now, but that'd be cool. It was Thunder's love of the crowd, though, that fucked her over. And as she was, basking, well, not basking in their glory, but like more kind of like getting the power from the crowd to like build her up, Bane was able to get the upper hand. Thunder was unfortunately completely at Bane's mercy when she does this. And she was giving, she being Bane, was giving Thunder absolutely no mercy at all. No mercy for Miss Thunder. Bane whipped Rosa hard into the corner, causing Thunder to scream out in pain from the connection with her damaged ribs. Oh, Bane kept on Thunder and ragdolled the living shit out of her. And then she was breaking Rosa down with heavy chops. And then she flung Rosa over her head and caused Rosa to come down really hard onto the mat. And she just screamed out in pain. Fucking hell, Rosa got to the ropes on the outside and was was about to get some reprieve, but Bane just gave her none, and she just kicked Thunder Rosa off the apron onto the floor with a giant fuck off pump kick straight to the chest. No, thank you. Unfortunately for Thunder Rosa, the ref was a bit intimidated by maybe Bane because she was in no hurry to get Megan and Thunder Rosa back into that ring anytime soon. She was just like out there being like, hey, you gotta get into the ring. And it's like, well, yeah, duh, but she ain't going to. You know what would get her into the ring quicker is maybe if you get in there and start doing like the 10 count. But she didn't, like, for ages. And I don't know where this voice is coming from, but like, bang. So Bane, because of this, was able to fling Thunder into every single hard surface that was around the ring. She threw her into the guardrail twice, the side of the ring, the other guardrail that was even more like, more solid is the word I was trying to think of. And then she like full throttled brutality. No, shit. There wasn't meant to be an and then because that was the end of it. We'll start from after the other guardrail. With full throttled brutality, and Bane enjoyed every single scream of agony that was coming out of Thunder Rosa. The lady loves torture. You've heard it here first. We give you the scoops, and we've done our research. We made our theory. We put our theory out there, and now we're delivering the facts. And now it's up to the peer review from you out there, and then we'll see where we end up from that. The crowd ringside start giving Megan shit, and this gave Thunder a little bit of extra oomph to give Bane a few shots to the gut. But Bane stopped her in her tracks and scoop slammed her to the ground in front of all the fans, delighted by their anger. You can almost say that the fans kind of fucked Thunder on that one. But hey, how could they have known that they were just going to boost Bane's, ego into doing more damage? But now you know, because you've all heard this podcast. Yes, every single one of you who watch AEW and go to AEW shows, you've all heard this, okay? So you now know that encouraging Bane creates more pain for the one that you don't want to have pain done onto them. So I'll be watching you all from now on, and, you will be judged. After having her head slammed into the ring, Thunder finds herself being carried into the ring on the shoulders of Bane, who does this with absolute ease, like she's not even carrying a grown human on her shoulders. Oh, now that was insanely impressive. Anyone that can do that, I'm always like, damn. And yeah, like Bane just did it like she was, I don't know, carrying her own head on her shoulders. It was ridiculous how easy she did it. She then just flung Rosa over the ropes into the what am I trying to say? Into the, I said into the ring. And then she pins her after flying at Thunder with a lariat, giving her absolutely no chance to gain any of her bearings. But even though Rosa still is able to kick out at 2, and the crowd cheers her on, and I'm going to let you off on that one because you're trying to power up Thunder Rosa. And also you don't know about any of this yet, but I'll be judging. Catching some breath in the corner was a really bad idea because Megan was on her with like some short shoulder tackles to the ribs that must have at least been like on the 8. Low, least at an 8 on the pain scale by now. If anyone knows about the pain scale, 8 is high. And with Megan doing that, Megan gets Rosa to the mat the hard way via a falcon arrow of doom, followed by a rear choke, just for fun. Megan was pulling back on that choke too. Oh, it was rough. Thunder was finding it really, really hard to get her feet under her. But surprisingly, she was actually able to get to her feet because once she was able to, Thunder grabs Bane's head and she just brings her down for a jawbreaker. This broke the hold. Oh, jawbreaker. That's another one that I would use in my thing. Yeah, I love a jawbreaker. This broke the hold, but that was all because Bane stood there like, how dare you? And absorbs all of Thunder's chops to the chest and face. Bane powered up by a forearm. Oh, no, she powered up a forearm and sent it to Thunder Rosa's chest, bringing Thunder Rosa to her knees. Gathering herself quickly, though, Thunder doesn't cower and goes straight back onto the attack with more forearms to Bane's chest. She was not giving up. But Megan goes, nah, and again powered up another forearm and send Thunder back down to the mat. Megan screams, "Come on, Thunder!" Just like an Aussie. Not that she is an Aussie. Oh, that'd be funny. Come on, Thunder! No, we're going to move on from that. And challenges her to come at her again. Thunder powers off the ropes, hits Bane with more chops and forearms, but she won't be budged. Bane gets Thunder on her shoulders again, but this time Thunder is withered enough to wiggle out. Ooh, sidebar. I would like to take this moment to express my absolute love for Thunder Rosa and Megan Baines here. Woo! They both have gorgeous battle here. I love that they can do what they can do with it flying around, still looking fabulous. It's absolutely beyond me how they do it, because if I'm like just walking and a gust of wind like blows like a slight bit of my hair in front of my eyes, I'm like, I'm blind! Oh my God! And I stumble around, I'm like, oh my goodness, everything's gone. So how they can fly around the ring with like all this hair just there is brava. Brava, ladies. Thunder is in a better position and she lands a rough kick to Bane's abdomen, doubling her over. Now she is weakened and Thunder's forearms and chops make more of an impact this time. And when Rosa goes to get her with a lovely shotgun drop kick, Megan stumbles to the corner and Thunder finally seems to have the upper hand. Gritting through pain, Thunder Rosa gathers more power from the crowd and runs at Bane, who easily lifts her over her shoulders over the top rope, and they start laying into each other again, just with the ropes between them. Thunder Rosa rocks Bane, who retreats from the ropes to the intended safety of the middle, but Bane seems like she hasn't been doing her homework on Thunder Rosa. She's just been walking through, just bashing everyone, thinking Thunder Rosa is little and she can go all the way through her, and obviously has not been looking at her tapes, or else she would have known that Thunder Rosa has great aerial attacks, and she gets Bane square in the chest with an avalanche shotgun dropkick. I love adding avalanche to everything, even though not everything from the top rope is an avalanche something or other. Freaking love doing that. Bane lands heavy on the mat, but so does Rosa, unfortunately, and her ribs will be crying at every single move that she makes, especially after landing a drop kick from that height. Thunder powers through the pain, and after screaming at Bane in Spanish, which I'm totally sorry, I have no idea what she said. Oh, if you know what she said, please leave it in the comments below. And Thunder plows her 2 feet through Bane's face and lands on the floor, very jubilant. It's like this little thing, if I can describe it to you. So Megan is like dangling, kind of like resting on, unfortunately, Brett's healing rope of power. And Thunder Rosa just like runs at her from the opposite side of the rope and like just ring, and then just like flies at Bane's face with her footsies, and then just kind of like slides over her like a baseball slide thing, and then she's just happy with herself, and that's fair because that looks freaking rough. Megan was still fighting back after this though, but she was visibly way more dazed and hurt than before. Thunder Rosa used her experience to wriggle out of another move by Bane, and Thunder rammed Bane's face into the steel steps. So all this is going on the outside. Once again, slack ref is slack. Okay, I have to say this. So, the refs in AEW, bless their little heart, they want us to all have a good time. But sometimes I do wonder if there's a bit of shady business going on. All right, and with another sidebar number 2, I know we live in kayfabe here, and don't call me Divaville, but I have to say this real life thing, okay? Bane is a strong character who can withstand immense punishment and still come out on top. Yet she will sell your offense when she is down like an absolute boss. She will make you look brutal when you finally get her down. And this was like fully on display when when Thunder had her in these like certain positions on the ring outside. Like she was bumping for Thunder, like she was getting paid $10 for every single one. It's just so good to see. Thunder Rosa also is a fabulous wrestler with offense, but also selling your moves, making you look like $1 million. Rosa is excellent at making something look like it literally almost killed her. And during this match, I was wincing at every shot she was taking to those ribs. Like, absolutely outstanding wrestlers. They're both amazing. Back to kayfabe. Selling? What is this selling about? A wrestler's coming through town, so I need to gather all the 8x10s and make them sign 50 things before I leave them alone on eBay. Is this the selling you speak of? Because there's no selling I know of. Yada, yada, yada. That's my little side sass at the douches that have 1 million 8x10s at the airport and then sell them online. Have some dignity, would you? Frickin' hell. I wish there was something legal you could do to them. I don't know. Like, I mean, I guess you could just all like you can all like just sign them like not your signature, but then they might be all like, oh, that's not your signature. And they'd be like, well, that's what you're fucking getting. Anyway, sidebar went on way too long. Thunder is unsuccessful with her crossbody to Bane on the ramp and is caught in midair. That wiggly skill came in handy for Rosa again, though, and she avoided being slammed onto the mat, thank goodness. Bane and Thunder start exchanging heavy forearms on the ramp. So they're back on the ramp now, and I am nervous as hell, and I will explain why. This ramp from the entrance stage goes straight to ringside, as opposed to the curve that goes down to the floor, then a gap of mats, and then the ring. Because every single time the ramp is set up this way, as it is, some sort of painful shenanigans ensue, and it's looking like it might be about to ensue right now. Like, I swear, every single time we have this set up, it's like, oh, someone's going to get fucked up. It's ridiculous. After a high kick to the head from Thunder Rosa, Megan goes down to one knee. Thunder gives out another battle cry, but her power-up is unfortunately useless as Megan uses Thunder Rosa's momentum against her, and she gets her quickly onto her shoulders, and we know where this is going. Quickly, Bane adjusts her footing and plants Rosa face first onto the stage with a bow down. Satisfied, Bane walks to the ring, and we see that the ref has finally decided to take some sort of control of the situation and has started to count to 10, only as Thunder Rosa lays unconscious, though, so I think that's a bit rude. Thunder Rosa does actually get to 10. No, she gets to the ring by 10, but Bane just picks her up in another fireman's carry, looks directly down the camera at us, and yells, "Bow down!" And Rosa is once again planted face first onto the mat. We get the 1, we get the 2, and we get that 3. Ding, ding, ding. Megan Bane defeats Rosa. The woman is not done, though, and she starts to beat down on Rosa, which I think is very rude. But to be perfectly honest, what is this woman doing that isn't very rude outside of the match stipulations? Bane has Thunder in an Argentine backbreaker. If you know what an Argentine backbreaker is, you just know that Thunder is screaming out in pain. It's basically like a torture rack, but you're being pulled over like one of the person, like you are pulling the person over one of your shoulders. And then like bouncing up and down while grabbing their neck, like fully just putting all of this pain on Thunder Rosa's ribs. Like, whew, I don't know when we're going to be able to see Thunder again. And it kind of seemed like she was having a bit of a run, but maybe she'll just keep, fighting through the pain. She'll need like a tag match or something, someone to help her out while she's, Timeless and Thunder versus Megan Bane and Penelope Ford. Book it. But what is this? The arena is filled with the strings of hope as Timeless Tony Storm's music hits and the crowd erupts with cheers. Our champ, no, I've done it again. Our tramp, who is the champ, has not come to talk, though. She is all business and storms, pardon the pun, into the ring. Timeless doesn't even hesitate and squares up to Bane. The two women exchange forearms in the middle of the ring, but Bane still is the heavy hitter, and Timeless has the world on her side, though, and she has the strength of an ox, so she might be able to withstand these heavy hits from Bane. But Bane got the upper hand, unfortunately, and the champ found herself at the mercy of another bow. Well, she didn't get the bow down, but Bane gives out another bow down, this time to the champion, and it is all she wrote, my people. We are sliding into sidebar number, and this one's aimed at Nigel. Oi, Nigel, you numbnuts. Megan Bane's F5 is called bow down. The woman literally screams it before she does the move. Why the Fate's Descent agenda? Move on. It may have been called that in the past, but one quick little look-see at the AEW's moves page, I know I had to go there many a times because I was like, am I going crazy or is he going crazy? Are we all going crazy? Will clearly point out that it is called bound down. Thank you. I will go back to what I was saying. The champ goes down and she is laid on the mat. This might seem worrying to some, but Timeless wasn't at her full strength, remember. She came out to defend Thunder anyway, though, because that's the good bitch that she is. The perk bonus from that alone should help the champ, heal quicker. So, it took her out for a bit, but, sometimes you got to do something that weakens you to get that good perk, that good, saving perk. So we're good. All right. We're going to be good. All the refs sprint to the ring and Megan Bane backs off whilst giving everyone the evils. Statlander comes out as well, and it is her presence that finally sends Megan on her way. It seems like Megan still don't want any of that. Chris goes to check on Thunder on the outside as Luther comes in to check in on Timeless on the ring, and both carry their fallen heroes up the ramp to the back. And it is a beautiful and momentous occasion. It does seem that whether or not Bane wants any of that or not, we, the sickos, are going to have Statlander versus Bane. This might break up the family. We'll see. We'll see. We will see if the sickos can handle the outcome of this match. We may need... We may need some thoughts and prayers out there to all the people in all the sickos in Sicko Land who might be feeling quite sad after this match. We will set up a helpline for you and perhaps go have a nice cup of coffee. I didn't actually want to say coffee. I wanted to say cocoa. I don't drink coffee because caffeine from coffee makes me go crazy. But yet caffeine from energy drinks is totally fine. ADHD brain, huh? So, and we are now in our look back segment. Da-da-da-da. We are up to our first ever Fighter Fest. Now, I've always wondered about this Fighter Fest thing. I'm like, what are we talking about? Because we also do Fight for the Fallen, and I'm like, are these the same kind of thing? Are these both army related stuff? But no, actually, Fighter Fest, as everyone else probably already knows, was a piss take on Fire Fest? Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. Random went completely over my head, but that's not new. All right, I'm just going to take a drinky break, but I will be not going anywhere.
Wait, really? That's a parody from Firefest, the music festival? That's where that... Yeah. I never knew that.
I didn't know that either. No idea. I'm like, did they say that? And I just missed it.
Yeah. Okay.
But that does kind of make the venue kind of decorations make a lot more sense now. Because it was always beach stuff. And I'm like, I don't get this beach shit. What's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that
was
a festival that Ja Rule and a few other people tried to throw, and it ended up being a huge scam, basically.
Ja Rule was involved.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk? Huh. Holy shit.
Ja Rule.
Yeah, Ja Rule. Ja Rule was the one who sung. Yeah, I only I only heard about the white guy who was meant to have organized it all. Ja Rule got under the radar in the international community. Sneaky. We should have
Yeah.
more catch-ups on this. So what was your news about this event? Because what we hear, because there seems to be some conflicting information going on.
Yeah. That's funny how that happens, right?
Right? Yeah, so that's cool. So yeah, moving on to Fighter Fest. Woo! Just gonna jump around for a little bit. Okay, and I'm good to go. We still have one more pay-per-view until we get to our first ever Dynamite. Yeah, I kind of knew that Dynamite was a little bit later on, but I didn't realize that it was these two pay-per-views that were actually in the middle of it. So the more you learn. Fighter Fest was June 24th in 2019, and we get Allie versus Leva Bates as the first ever official singles women's match in AEW. Leva Bates is in her tight white shirt and black hot pants with the blue hair. The librarian comes to the stage with her book and mic in hand, shushing us. Nothing else. Just shushing. But soon we get a rogue shush from some undisclosed location, causing Leva Bates some distress because, she should be the only shushy one around here with a microphone. Behind her are two lovely alive women in bikinis standing in front of a dome tent thing, which now makes the whole Fire Fest make a lot more sense. And beside Leva Bates are two very unalive women in bikinis. You can go check all this out for yourself free on YouTube, which is brilliant. This is where I watched it. Shenanigans ensue as Leva Bates lifts up the tent flap and it reveals a Peter Avalon, who is the other librarian. He wants to join Leva in her fight, at least from the outside. The alive women run because who wouldn't, but the undead ones just stay because they don't know, unknowing that one of them may not even survive this night. Leva doesn't want Peter's help, and he does the most rational thing of having a tantrum. He flung the dome tent he birthed out of and threw it off the stage and into a paddling pool. Quite perfectly. Peter Avalon was not done, though, with his tirade, and he turned his fury onto the innocent undead woman in the bikini that was right next to him. With one swing of his book, Avalon decapitates the undead model, ruining any chance of her finishing her shift and collecting her check. He's a bloody criminal, and he should be charged. Now, they had this whole competition, opening it up to anyone who wanted to take on the role as a librarian. Does anyone remember this? I think this was a thing announced on Being the Elite. Yeah, I had totally forgotten about the fact that it was done this way, as I'll get into. We are going into a little quick sidebar, though. I know of a drag queen whose name is Ariel Italic. She's from the Nobodies. They're a drag trio in New York. And the three of them used to review wrestling shows on YouTube not that long after AEW came out. And it's called Nobody's Watching Wrestling. Now, I don't think Ariel Italic does drag anymore. She does a hilarious video of Total Eclipse of the Heart with a sock puppet. It's fucking hilarious. Find it on YouTube. It's so brilliant. Ariel Italic, Total Eclipse of the Heart. I think that's how you'll be able to find it. And Ariel from the Nobodies saw this and she sent in a video for the part of the librarian. It would have been perfect. I think she would have killed it. I think it would have brought a wonderful campness to AEW because she's so campy, so fucking funny, so creative. But yeah, they dropped the ball and they didn't choose her. I mean, she didn't know how to wrestle, but they didn't specify that. And That's their fault. I think it would have been brilliant. I just think she would have made a great manager. I think the librarian gimmick would have actually have gotten over then because, staying in real life, no matter what they did, that did not get over. Peter Avalon kind of got it over, but then he moved on to this whole different thing, and then he totally got over. They fucking dragged Leva Bates through the thistles with this librarian gimmick, and just didn't do anything for her, unfortunately. Yeah, but I think it was doomed from the beginning because of how they did it. I also couldn't remember this, but it was actually the Young Bucks who chose Peter Avalon to be the librarian, and Cody Rhodes chose Leva Bates. And as was tradition at the time, we got this mishmash of a compromise. And so we've got two librarians that kind of hate each other. Do they want to fuck? Do they not want to fuck? Does one of them want to fuck the other one? The other one's like, ooh, no, get away from me. Who knows? But no one gave a fuck. The shush thing was their entrance music. So you just hear them coming out with like, shh. And I don't think that was as bad. Like that actual part, I think that was actually quite a brilliant little shtick to have on, because it was like great heat. But the fact that there were two of them and they were like, it was just really awkward and just never got over. It never ever goes over. Leva, as always, tries to get reading over with the crowd, who smartly chant back, "We can't read." And I believe about a third of them. Peter Avalon inserts himself into her monologue, and the two end up having this really awkward fight. And we're finally saved from this display of absolute cringe, which I'm sure was the point, and brava, because you did reach levels of intense cringe. Ugh. But we are finally saved by the sounds of Ellie's entrance music blasting into the arena. I can't remember what it sounds like, though. Ellie's theme at this time was The Bunny by Mikey Ruckus. It seems like she had like the bunny thing. Oh, did she do the bunny thing in TNA with Why Is She Going Off My Head? Or Why Are They Going Out of My Head? Rosemary. Was she the bunny with Rosemary? I can't remember. I think maybe. Anyway, that like tag team of those two together was fucking cool. Her finisher is also Down the Rabbit Hole, which is an inverted DDT with an elbow included for extra oomph. Ellie is a 2-time TNA/Impact Knockouts champion, and she's just amazing. I love her, but she doesn't wrestle anymore. And that's okay. She loves horror. She collects she loves her little crumb puppets. Oh, crumb. Well, puppets of something or other. Puppety horror-y things, which is just going out of my brain. I looked to the side to think, and then there was a fly circling, and I kind of followed that, and now I don't know what it was. But she's brilliant, and so watch that. Ellie flies out of the tunnel in a gorgeous blue one piece. Her hair is still brown, so she's still good, Ellie. This is how you know. And her hair is bouncy and beautiful, and Ellie is bouncy and beautiful, and everywhere she goes, Ellie is beaming at the crowd and waving at everybody with absolute joy. It's time to fight, and the women take their place in the middle of the ring. So Leva ducks under Ellie's arm twice and plants a big old shh in the face after every single one of them. It is highly infuriating. Ellie, pissed, gathers herself and is prepared for the third shush this time, and she grabs Leva's finger, twisting it and squeezing it and just dragging her everywhere by her finger, and it causes Leva to scream out in pain, but she kind of brought it on herself. Ellie plays with Leva for a little bit whilst holding onto her finger. She flips her over with it and stomps on it. Leva escapes the ring and cradling her injured finger while she screams in agony. It's like, well, this is what you get when you shush people in the face. Of course, Avalon has to get involved, because even though he acts like a little desperate, and I think he has a crush on Leva. No, sorry, I read that wrong. Going back. There was meant to be a space. Of course, Avalon has to get involved, Because even though he acts like a little desperate troll, I think he has a crush on Lever, but she's like, "Ooh, get away from me." Ellie taunts Lever with a shh of her own, because we're doing this now, and we're transported to the back of Brandy Rhodes' head as she watches the match on tally. Rolling back to the ring, Lever is able to get Ellie with a stiff kick to the gut, followed by some heavy, what looked like fists to me. Heavy? Heavy. They look like some heavy fists to me, until Ellie was crumbled to the corner. So once again, what are these refs doing? The ref is telling Lever not to punch. Oh, there we go. Ellie in the chest, and she replies with a okay, and then slams Ellie in the chest a few more times. Twists her arm before whipping Ellie into the opposite corner. Ellie is a 13, almost 14-year vet in 2019, though, and she easily counters this and flies at Lever with a crossbody, taking her down. Slamming her in the gut, Ellie takes Lever down with a Russian leg sweep, which looks really, really cool, into a crucifix for the pin. But Bates was able to kick out it too. I love a Russian leg sweep as well. Like when you do it with real, like, bah! You know, like you can't just be like, meh. You have to really like, bah! You know, because this isn't like a visual podcast at the moment, and you can all see exactly what I'm doing. Oh, drink break. Doing the just really fucked up my neck. Woo! That's what happens when you get into vocal comedy. Alrighty. What am I doing? Oh, here I am. Casual Peter Avalon tries to casually leg trip Ellie, but she turns around and faces him. Not going to let him get away with that shit. Lever barrels towards Ellie, who is now in between the ropes, yelling at Avalon, and Lever sends Ellie down to the outside with a drop kick. Very smart. Avalon vehemently shushes a dazed Ellie, but Lever wants nothing to do with Avalon and yells at him whilst pounding on Ellie's back, throwing her back into the ring before the ref can count them out. Ellie is still dazed while Lever boots her in the back. We're getting a little bit vicious here, Miss Lever. For a librarian. I'm a librarian. Anyone who's a fan of The Mummy will know what that's about. Lever manipulates Ellie into a fisherman's suplex, letting her go as she hits the mat. Ellie tries to fight back, but Lever is on a roll and gets Ellie with a Northern Light suplex into a bridge for the pin. But that was still not enough to keep Ellie down, and she kicks out at 2. Lever takes her frustrations out on Avalon, and the two yell at each other, making Lever very vulnerable to Ellie. And she cheekily rolls her up into a pin. It's just a 2, though, and Lever comes back with some hi-yas to Ellie's body. Ellie tries to come back after being thrown into the ropes, but Lever pretzels her up in some very impressive mat work, I have to say, and gets Ellie into a scissored armbar, pulling back Ellie's head by her hair to mock her with the shush finger. It was quite sadistic. Lever really screwed herself over, though, with this extra brutality, because with the hair pull, she had to release the hold by 5. Lever was still no. After 5, then we'll start. Lever's mad, but you did it to yourself, woman. Ellie is still hurting, so Lever can get her into the corner for a little chop session. And after a very sassy shh, because she's still doing that, Ellie turns the table on Lever and it is now her in the corner receiving the spicy chops. After Ellie screams like a banshee, little sign of the bunny coming in, Excalibur, you know him, comments on Ellie's dark side seeping through as if he can predict the coming of the bunny. Now, sidebar, Excalibur knows more than he lets on and is 3rd on the ladder of sus for me. Renee is 2nd. The top position, of course, goes to Hologram, the most suspicious wrestler on the current AEW roster. But Excalibur is wiggling in there, you know? Mox was talking about someone behind the back or behind the scenes. Just putting it out there. Make him own lore. The battle cry does nothing for her, though, as Lever Bates slams her into the corner with a shotgun drop kick. She's got great kicks, Miss Lever Bates. She really does. She is a champion right now in something, and I was meant to look that up. Sorry about that. Is it Deny? No, that was Say. Anyway, she's a champion somewhere now, which is brilliant. And then she laying into the bunny with a pendulum meteora. Rough. Lever drags Ellie to the middle of the ring for the pin, but Ellie is still with us because remember, she's a veteran and she kicks out at 2. Lever tries to get Ellie into her underhook facebuster, which is very fucking cool, but Ellie shimmies out and expertly grabs Lever's head into a hanging neck breaker. I also love a neck breaker. That would also be in my wheelhouse. Both women get up before the ref can get to 10 because if you don't know, when you're down in the middle of the ring, even like if both of you are down and like the ref's like, hello, they can start like a count to 10. And if you don't get up, then you're fucked. But I think if only like one of you gets up, it's just like a rope, like a rope break thing. Not a rope break thing. When you're breaking the count for the outside, only like one of you needs to like go in to like break the count. I think it's the same with this thing. And And once both women get up, it's an even shot for shot. But Ellie has more fire and pounds Lever into the corner with chops and forearms to the chest. But Ellie wants her in the opposite corner. So after all that, she whips Lever across the ring. Ellie flies at Lever while she's hidden there and slams her elbow into the side of her head. And Ellie's so happy with herself. Ellie goes to the next corner and then hits Bates with another back elbow. Now, this is her little like double move that she does really, really often. I like it. She gets with you like through the middle and then like shimmers to the side and like kabangs you. It's brilliant. Now, in prime position, Ellie screams, "I'm Ellie!" I think, then runs full steam at Lever and demolishes Lever's face with her elbow. Ellie's elbow, not Lever's own elbow, looking quite happy for herself in a wonderfully deranged way. You know what? You may not know this about me, but I just love a happy deranged woman. Really speaks to my soul in some ways that I'm not putting any dots together with. Lever does not give up though, and she kicks out at 2. Woo! She's got some balls. After finding out of a Death Valley driver and avoiding a hook kick, Lever Bates hooks Ellie's leg in the ropes and gets her with a backstabber. So can you imagine that? Like a normal backstabber, but one of your legs is wrapped in the ropes. Ew. Lever puts Ellie in a double underhook facebuster, which she was trying to do again, which was her submission, and pins Ellie for the 3. But it's not a 3. And Ellie kicks out at 2 again. Lever is pissed and pins Ellie really quickly again. But Ellie's like, no, I am kicking out at 2, woman. After some fuckery with Avalon, Ellie catches the illegal book that he was trying to throw at Lever and hits her square in the face with a deadly thrust kick. Now we get the 1 and we get a 2. And oh, look. Over here, there's a 3, and Ellie gets the win. Ding, 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 ding. And we find out that apparently she's facing Brandy Rose at Fight for the Fallen in 2 weeks. So that would explain why Brandy was being all creepy earlier. And that will be the next thing we talk about for next week in that pay-per-view. Ellie will go on to be the Bunny, and she will join a faction with the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny. That was their faction name as well. Kind of think that they probably should have had like maybe like an anagrams are so overused though. Like maybe like like a shorter name for their thing because like the Butcher, the Blade, and I mean I get it, and for the aesthetic, kind of like story book wise, but it was kind of long winded. That faction though pretty much acted like mercenaries for the right price for anyone. It was kind of like the only team that was really doing that. I don't think we have any mercenaries now because the Death Riders definitely are in for it for themselves. The Bunny would also team up with Penelope Ford for a little bit. And Kip, I think, was Kip doing stuff with the Butcher and the Blade as well? I can't remember that part. But yeah, but no more because the Bunny isn't in AEW anymore, but that would have been lovely. But I think injuries got in the way of Penelope Ford and the Bunny doing anything more. That's that's a bit shitty. We do see some more matches with Lever on Dark, but not as many as I would like because, she's a women's wrestler. You give them more opportunities, they get better. But Lever went on to do like a lot of backstage stuff, and she left AEW. Why not? Yeah, I think like just a contract thing, like just expired and stuff. And but now she is wrestling a lot more. Like I say, she won a championship in one of the indie companies. And every time I see her, she looks like she's having like the best this time. She looks really great, which is brilliant. Also, she is a magnificent cosplayer as well. She's like a real geeky nerd. So I kind of feel like if they leaned into kind of more of that for her gimmick as opposed to the librarian, then that might have been better. But these things, I'm not a booker. What crap do I know? I'm just some Kiwi on the internet jabbling along. Right, for our next match, it is a 3-way match, and it's Nyla Rose versus Riho versus Yuka Sakazaki. These were basically like the staples of the women's roster at the back of the time. Oh, this just brings to mind, when I was saying in the introduction about how Britt Baker was like the first woman signing for AEW. Penelope Rose was actually signed at the exact same time. Penelope Rose? Penelope Ford. Who's Penelope Rose? Why does that sound like so familiar? Anyway, Penelope Ford was also signed at the same time. Do you guys remember, speaking of Penelope Ford's hubby, do you guys remember, I think it might have been, like, it was one of the Daily Place things. I don't think it was a Dynamite at Daily's Place. It might have been a pay-per-view. I'm not too sure. But anyway, the big guy who like has way too much cortisol in his face and he's always yelling and he's always red. I saw him in the crowd an awful lot at NXT tapings. But he was in the crowd, he was at the front and he was fucking yelling all sorts of like just, I don't know what, I can't remember what he was yelling at Kip, but he was like screaming in Kip's face. And then Kip, unconsensually, so we don't endorse this, but for this moment I do kind of laugh. He just grabs this guy's face and just plants a big smooch on his lips, and the dude's like, huh? And then Kip just like carries on doing what he's doing. I thought it was fucking brilliant. Yeah, but I can't remember what show that was on, but I always remember that with Sabian. I was like, that guy got smooched. That's what you get when you unsolicited yelling in someone's face might get you an unsolicited smooch. So think about that, and next time you get in someone's face.
It's the real definition of kill them with kindness.
Fucking AA. Do you remember that?
I don't, but that story's amazing.
Yeah, it's great. Do you remember
Makes
the
me like Kip Sabian a little bit more?
I know, right? I was like, I'm a total fan after that. I'm like, this dude, he can do whatever. He's great. I absolutely love that. Okay. Whew, it's getting warm in the little studio. Okay. Riho comes out first in her cute as fuck jacket and her pink and white marshmallow gear. She always looks adorable, which is insane when you just see her getting beaten around the place in this adorable little outfit. Nyla is next, and she is in green reptile type gear with a lime green half mask this time. She was always I don't know if she does it too much now, but she was always coming out in a sorry, I'm getting distracted. I don't know why my thing's not scrolling. Right, okay, so we're back. Sorry. What was I saying about? Oh no, now it's gone. Oh, it's all a catastrophe. All right, and we're down to there. Cool. Nyla is next, and she's in a green reptiles type gear with a lime green half mask and sparkly green veil. Nyla is so cool. I wish we saw more of Nyla on telly. America, why you gotta be so America? Come on. I just want to see Nyla. Next up is the magical Oni herself, Yuka Sakazaki. And she's in her amazing gear, which I cannot describe well enough to do any justice. So you have to go look up pictures for yourself. It's brilliant. Orange flowy pants. She looks magical. It's amazing. The Joshi shake hands. Yuka extends her hand to Nyla, and Nyla is happy to shake her hand. But when Riho tries to extend her hand, Rose is like, nah. And she just gets thrown to the corner by Rose. Rose is like, you are now in the corner. And she's like, why? Why do I have to be in the corner? Oh, what's going on here? What are you doing this for? What are you being done? I don't care. No, fuck off. No, fuck off. Sorry, I'm arguing with my computer. What are you doing? Okay, can I do it now? All right. We're back. Sorry about weird scrolling problems. Oof. Okay. Yuka is not quick enough to evade Nyla as she comes flying at her, and she is thrown into the corner, and then she just pancakes Riho because she's thrown her into the same corner that Riho's in. Both women are able to avoid Nyla when she charges at them, and Nyla just plows straight into the corner full speed. Yuka and Riho work together to try and overcome Nyla, but Nyla does this awesome move that brings her arms together. Like, so they're both on either side, and she just like brings her arms together, and Riho and Yuka just goes badoink and like just crash off each other. It looks brilliant. Yuka and Riho try to overcome Nyla again, but she fights back once Riho and Yuka hit Nyla with a double drop kick. That was when she finally went down. After a failed and rather ambitious attempt at a submission, Nyla kicks both women off and slams them down and covers for a double pin. Both Joshi, though, bridge out of the pin and start laying kicks and punches into Nyla. It looked really cool when they did that. They try again for a double team, but Nyla turns it on them and gets both women over for twin suplexes, which also looks very cool. It was perfectly executed from everybody involved. After pounding, Nyla piled Riho onto Yuka and pulled them both into a double camel clutch, which also looked fucking cool. To be Riho in the middle, though, whoo! She had Yuka's head smushing into her face, which must have sucked ass. And then Riho was also getting smushed into like Nyla. She was basically the meat of the sandwich. But she was able to get her legs to the rope, and that broke the hold. Nyla still had the upper hand and pounds down on Yuka and Riho. Riho, not Rico. Yuka gets a bear hug. Does she get a bear hug? Riho. Oh, of course. She got gifted a bear hug from Nyla Rose, and Riho got gifted a rather nasty suplex. Christmas came early. Nyla picks Yuka up, turns to face Riho, who is just getting up and tries to prepare herself but cannot. And Nyla flings Yuka at Riho. You're seeing a pattern here, causing Riho to roll out of the ring, which is probably for the best. Nyla thinks she's got Yuka buggered, but Yuka ain't finished yet. She counters Nyla and takes her down with a step-up Hurricane Runner. Nyla rolls to the outside in agony. Riho, who was also out there, soon her and Nyla become crash pads for Yuka, and she flies at them both with her magical girl plunger. Yuka wisely chooses Riho to be the one that she brings back into the ring, and Yuka hits Riho with an excellent missile drop kick. Goes for the pin, but Riho kicks at it too. I don't think Yuka really thought she was going to get a 3 count on that one, but you got to try and wear them down. Dig at their confidence. Riho and Yuka square up to each other, and they just start whacking the shit out of each other in the face. When that wasn't working, Riho ran to the ropes and took Yuka down with her tiaras. Riho's dropkick did not connect though, and was easily avoided by Yuka, so fucking quick, who then attempted to do the same to Riho, but she was like, hey, you cheeky fucker, and she completely avoided it. The two women go again though, and Riho is able to hit Yuka. Oh, no, we go back. The two women go again, and both collide with a connecting dropkick in the middle of the ring. It was brilliant. Riho is able to hit Yuka with a double stomp to the guts before having to face Nyla, who has now taken this moment to the ring. So they connected with the double drop kicks in the middle of the ring, and then still dazed, Riho is able to spring up, springs down on Yuka, but doesn't realize that Nyla is coming right into her. But it turns out that she actually did, because my next sentence is, a running knee to Nyla's head dazes her, but it doesn't get her down. Riho lures her in with a drop toe hold, gets Nyla onto her knee and hanging over that middle rope. Riho comes in for the kill with what we all know as a 619, but outside of Mysterio land, it's a tiger feint kick. The more you know. Wobbly and in the middle of the ring, Yuka flies at Nyla with a diving seated senton. Riho completes the double team with a diving stomp to Nyla's gut. The height Riho gets on this is phenomenal. They turn on each other next after they get the big woman down. Both exchange blows, but it's Riho who benefits from an off-balance Yuka, and she gets her down for a pin. Yuka kicks out because she's just wobbly, not down, but Riho just springs back up again and gives Yuka another double stomps to the guts. Like, whoo, she can do that so quickly. Like, the amount of time it takes Riho to get like from the ground into the air and then and then stomping down onto your gut is like, whoo, like you blink and you miss it. Riho stammers too long though, and Yuka is able to avoid Riho's incoming attack and flips her back into the center of the ring. Yuka lines Riho up and slams her with a flying lariat, pinning Yuka down to the mat. And she very nearly got that win, but Nyla was back and she broke up that pin. She's like, how fucking know you guys are going to have a match without me? Yuka tries to fight back, but Nyla breaks her down with one forearm. Nyla starts playing with her food, though, and she's hot dogs to the crowd. Yuka can get her with some stiff kicks and some forearms because of this. Yuka tries a flying lariat on Nyla, but Nyla just yoinks her out of the air and plants her to the mat with a side effect. Nyla is far too confident though, and she doesn't pin Yuka properly. So Yuka just easily kicks out at 2. You still gotta pin them properly, woman. You know about the extra power of the kick out. Who's the wrestler here? You or me? With one beautiful vertical suplex, Yuka rolls to the outside. Nyla turns her attentions now onto Riho. Riho gets splashed in the corner, then hung up in the middle of the rope. In the middle of the rope? In the middle of the top rope. Nyla climbs to the top rope. Imagine, so you got the ring, and then you got the ropes, and you got like the 2 turnbuckles. So she's not on the turnbuckle. She's like whoop, 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 in the middle, hanging like some washing. Nyla climbs to the top and delivers an excellent diving guillotine knee drop to the back of Riho's skull. It's a thing of beauty. The crowd goes bananas. The crowd are like so behind Nyla. I mean, they're so behind everybody, but even though Nyla's being like a little bit of, a little bit naughty, they're so behind her. Nyla takes her sweet ass time though and doesn't go for the pin. Those 2 decisions right there will fuck her over. After kicking off Yuka, Nyla comes down. After kicking off a Yuka? Yeah, apparently. Nyla comes down from the top rope with a senton. She lands on nothing but mat. For whatever reason, Riho climbs to the top rope and waits for Nyla to get to her feet, which was so silly in hindsight because Nyla easily caught her when she flew at her. Yuka thinks, and fairly, that she can get Nyla down, but Nyla blows the roof off the entire arena as she manages to catch Yuka whilst still having Riho cradled in her arms. Imagine that. You're just standing there with it's Riho, but she's still a grown human. And some other person is flying at you with intent, and you just catch them both. You have 2 people now. Not just picking them up, but they flew at you and you caught them. My mind just can't get over that. That's insane. Yuka got real wiggly though, and Nyla ended up with her shoulders on the mat. And both Riho and Yuka had her pinned at the same time. Thank fuck Nyla kicked out of that though, because that would have been really awkward. Like, how would the ref have been able to, it would have to have been well, now you guys have to face each other all. What the hell? With Nyla hurting in the corner, Yuka and Riho battle it out in the middle of the ring with some excellent wrestling. Beautiful Joshi wrestling. It's Yuka who stops the momentum and Riho hits the mat hard from a German suplex. She's got a beautiful German suplex. Riho down. Yuka climbs to the ropes, but magical girls. Oh, climbs to the ropes, but magical. Oh, sorry. Yes. Go again. Rewind. Riho down. Yuka climbs the ropes, but magical girl splashes onto Riho's knees instead. Riho cannot get up though, and it's Nyla who can capitalize, sending a hurting Yuka over her head in a release German suplex. See, we're German suplexing up the wazoo because they're nasty. With a beast bomb from hell, Nyla pins Yuka, but two, because Riho flies at Nyla with a knee to the face, and that completely breaks up the pin. The momentum tips Nyla over, and Yuka gets her shoulders down for a pin again, and it's still only two because Riho is back to break the pin. This time with a drop kick to Yuka's chest, sending Yuka flying. Nyla takes a knee to the face, but is still able to catch Riho as she rushes at her, getting Riho onto her shoulders and down hard to the mat with a Death Valley driver. Nyla crawls over to cover Riho and gets the closest pin of the night at a 2.9999999. Riho gets put up on Nyla's shoulders for another beast bomb, but with a wiggly Riho, she puts a stop to that plan. Riho escapes and expertly wraps her leg around Nyla's leg and takes her down. Rolls her up into a tight little package, and miraculously, with a 1 and a 2 and a 3, Riho gets the pin. The crowd goes, woo, but are way more excited. And yeah, Riho wins against Nyla. Crazy, huh? Later on that night, Mrs. Brandy Rhodes comes out with the hubby. She's looking very pretty in a black boobalicious one piece. Cody's finding Darby, if you're interested. That happened a lot. No shenanigans from Brandy, but Sean Spears comes in and delivers a rough as fuck steel chair shot to Cody's noggin. Y'all remember that? It like split him open, like the back of his head, it just split him open. Oh, Cody Rhodes is such a carny. Sean fucks off and Brandy cradles her husband's cracked, open, bleeding skull. Those two with moments of Cody being hurt in the ring. Oh, there were a lot. I think I mentioned it before, but the woman tried to set him on fire. Well, she did set him on fire. Woo, insane. With the help of Brandy, MJF, and Dean Malenko, Cody, dazed as a stoned possum that's fallen out of the tree, stumbles to the back with the help from the people in the back. Because MJF was Cody's little, guy. And I forgot that Dean Malenko did some on-screen stuff. Because Dean Malenko's there. I love Dean Malenko. He is adorable. And I don't mean that in a derogative kind of way. He's just lovely. I say adorable a lot. I just think it's great. Well, I think it's great or it's not. It comes out of my mouth. That's what you got. Right. Enough extra rambling from me because you don't need more of that. We are now moving on to our last little segment of the evening. And it is about Luna Vachon. That is who I'm going to talk about today. I love Luna Vachon. She was great. She was so the difference, of the women's roster back then. And she's like a little breath of fresh air. And I went and I watched some matches, like her old matches and stuff. And I learned more stuff about her. And now I'm going to talk to you about all the things that I learned that you may probably already know. But hey, I don't care because by the time you hear this, I'll be off writing about somebody else. So you can have an argument with yourself about that one. So Luna Vachon's stepdad was Paul Vachon. He very famous wrestling family. He taught her some moves when she was not little, but in her early teens. When he was working at the WWF, they would go in the ring, and he would train her some stuff and things, just a little bit. Then at 16, she went to train properly with her aunt. Now, this is where I got really excited. Because the first time I saw a picture of Vivian Vachon, I was like, oh, you are so cool. Oh, I mean, she's 70. She's like in her 70s, like gear. She's cool as fuck. And it was Luna. No, it was Vivian that trained up Luna for a little while. Sorry, I don't know where my brain went just then. After Vivian, Luna then moved on to Mullah's training facility. Speaking of another woman who likes to inflict torture onto people and steal your money. And Mullah is quoted as saying, not that I give a flying fuck about what she has to say, but she was like, from someone who like came from the Vachon family. She didn't really know much. It's like, she's 16, woman. Shut the fuck up. When I was gathering stories about Luna, I came across her photo, and she looked awesome back in the day. Like even before she did like her little like side shavy thing, she looked really cool. Kind of reminded me of an early woman, but just with blonde hair instead of brunette hair. If you've seen like women's outfits from back in the Florida days with the Army of Darkness kind of stuff. It looked really cool. Another woman wrestler I saw in a pic with Luna and her aunt was this other wrestler called Mad Maxine. And I got excited again because even though it was black and white, I was like, who are you? I love you. I want to know everything about you. Why do I not know anything about you? She had a green mohawk, apparently, which I couldn't see in the photos, which was stink. But yeah, so imagine a green mohawk. And her ring gear was also very inspired by the biker type of aesthetic. So very, very Luna, very, demolition, that kind of stuff. Mad Maxine, she's a really interesting woman. She really is. She has put out a book that's called The Chronicles of Mad Maxine, which I really want to get my hands on and read. She spills all the goss about the bullshit that Mullah did and her time in women's wrestling and stuff. And I'm really, really, really keen to read that book. That's going to be so interesting. So it's Mad Maxine or Lady Maxine as well, if you want to know. Luna wanted to be a wrestler from a child, of course, but as she grew and trained, her family tried really, really hard to turn her off pursuing wrestling and were really honest about how shit it was for women's wrestlers at the time. Her unofficial godfather was Andre the Giant, and he tried to turn her off the decision. Luna had known Andre from, a really, really long time, from she was teeny, teeny, tiny, and he couldn't turn Luna away from her passion. He was really, really honest. So, you got to give him that. But I doubt she even still knew what she was getting into. I mean, how could you, Luna became Luna in Florida Championship Wrestling. Her original form of a reporter, Trudy Hurd, was attacked by Kevin Sullivan, who slapped the sane out of her with 2 hard slaps. And Luna was born, and she joined his Army of Darkness. Imagine that back then, just having like this guy on this chick. Fucking people would have gone mental. Luna then shaved her head into that half side mohawk thing, and she stitched a permanent snare onto her face. She teamed up with Locke, who is also known as Winona Littleheart, who I don't know her, unfortunately, and those two formed the Daughters of Darkness together. Now, Luna did this purposely. As you probably know, I think this is pretty well-known information. Luna did everything with her look to get her as away from like the classic, I'm just a pretty little wrestler aesthetic. So she went all out. It was brilliant. And although all through the 80s, Luna worked in Japan and also around North America as a wrestler, but also as a manager, and she even did some booking and commentating. So that's a lot to do in like your early wrestling career. Luna's first appearance in WWF was, of course, with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 9. He was facing Tatanka, who had my girl, Sensational Sherry, in his corner. Luna would attack Sherry after the match, and then later on backstage. And then Luna would end up getting arrested, crazily enough, after that. And the two women would apparently go on to have a great feud. I didn't look into any of this as yet. But yeah, I'm going to check out some of those matches when I have some time, because that's going to be good. It was her pairing with Bam Bam Bigelow, though, that I first saw her and just fell in love with them. Those two worked so well together. Bam Bam using the moonsault in honor of Luna and then going so far as to name it the Luna Salt is so fucking wholesome. Unfortunately, we would never get a mixed tag between Luna and Bam Bam and Tatanka and Sherry because Luna got a legit arm injury. Apparently that was booked to happen, but yeah, the arm injury meant that match had to get scrapped, unfortunately. Luna's outfits were awesome. She always looked straight out of a kinky Mad Max party, and her giant bleach blonde mohawk was incredible. The height she used to get that thing was insane. The texture must have been so shit, but it looked fucking amazing. Her makeup was very unique, but yet it also gave me Bull Nakano vibes, which I loved because I love Bull Nakano. Luna and Bam Bam had a long rivalry with Doink and all of his doinkiness. They were pranked lots by Doink and ended up having a few pay-per-view matches with the clown. At Survivor Series, there was a four-way between Bam Bam Bigelow with Luna at his side and the Head Shrinkers. Now, sidebar. I love the Head Shrinkers as a little, but even at the time, living in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and being in the Pacific and surrounded by so much of its culture, it was confusing and gross hearing all the Samoan cultural racism going on. And it was all just like casual racism. But to me, it like really hit hard, and I was like, oh, man, like what? It was gross. Because personally, it was still prevalent in my parents' generation in this country. The whole like casual racism. But my generation was super inclusive, and Maori and Samoan culture was in schools everywhere. So I was just super sensitive to this kind of shit, and it really annoyed me. And also the concept of there being an American Samoa was something I could never get my head around for some reason. I was like, Samoa, they're Samoans. Okay. But not all Samoans are American Samoa. Where is American Samoa? Is it closer to America? And then I finally looked on the map and I was like, yeah, you have to fucking zoom in real close to see the different islands, but like they're super close to each other. But it's like, how did that happen? How did one island go to America and the other island is just like independent? It blows my mind. But there you go. We have American Samoa and we have everything that comes with it. Bastian Booger, which is a fucking brilliant name, was the fourth member of their tag team, and they were against the four Doinks in this Survivor Series match. I will tell you who these Doinks were. They were men on a mission who were cool. They were really cool. And Aotearoa's own, the Bushwhackers, who weren't so cool. But bless their hearts. And whether or not either of these teams were the ones actually involved in being the Doinks in the pranking part, we shall never know. I don't think it matters. Don't get caught up in the weeds on that one. Luna got a WrestleMania match, though, at number 10, and it was a mixed tag match with Bam Bam versus Doink and Dink. And they defeated them. Luna's relationship soured, and she sold Bigelow's contract to Ted DiBiase. Naughty, naughty. Turning her sights back on to Alundra Blaze. But instead of fighting Alundra Blaze, she wanted to put her power behind the kick-ass Bull Nakano, which is fair enough. And Bull Nakano would eventually beat Alundra Blaze for her women's title. I fully remember that. That was a brilliant moment. Luna fucked off from WWF, and with a suggestion from Woman, aka Nancy Sullivan, who I absolutely love, joined ECW, which at the time was called Tri-States Wrestling. Luna was Tommy Dreamer's valet, and Raven was feuding with him. Luna would get involved, and eventually she had a steel cage match against Stevie Richards. They beat the living crap out of each other, but Stevie Richards was hilarious, and he would also be running away from Luna a lot, but then like she hurt him too much and he got pissed. So he started beating the crap out of her, which is fair. But Luna eventually got the win by a magical submission of, I don't know if it had a name, but Stevie Richards was lying down on the mat, is back to the mat, and she just goes right in on Stevie Richards' nuts until he gives up screaming in pain. So she's basically got a mandible claw on Stevie Richards' junk. Shenanigans ensue afterwards, of course, and Lena gets laid out by Raven. Luna traveled around after that and did some more stuff. She did some fighting in Puerto Rico, and she set her sights back on Medusa, who was in WCW after all this. Now, during Medusa's fight against the then WCW Women's World Champion Akira Hokuto, I don't remember. Is it Hokuto or is it Hokuto? It's got the U. I'm not quite too sure if I meant to pronounce the U. Either. Akira. Luna debuted and she interfered in the match. Luna and Medusa ended up having a bit of a rivalry where Luna would like be beating on her and stuff, but she would never be able to get the pin over Medusa. WCW did everything they could to get Medusa strong, and it was to a detriment, to be honest, in my opinion, because it ended up going absolutely nowhere, you know? It didn't boost up Medusa at all. It didn't lead to anything. It was just pointless. I think when I do a segment on Medusa / Alundra Blaze, it will still be more. It will probably be more of a fantasy booking piece because at the time I was not a fan of Medusa at all. She annoyed the living crap out of me. But looking back, I think all of that would have been different if she had been given better storylines and matches and not built to be this indestructible, like, fighting for America kind of thing. Because believe me, that shit does not read for the rest of the world at all. In fact, the least you can talk about American and wearing American stuff, the better. But that's just for me. I know there's like 1 million and something or other of Americans out there, and there's only like a teeny tiny amount of me. But this is my podcast, goddammit! And there's 1 million of me! And yeah, let's just try and keep the whole country thing out of there. Although, wouldn't it be hilarious if no, this would not be hilarious. Well, I mean, it kind of would. If Jay White just randomly like came out like stupidly with like a sheep. Never mind. You're not in my head, thank goodness. That was a very funny picture. Luna moved on again and went to Florida to work in a different industry because she was like, fuck this noise. And eventually it was WWE that came knocking at Luna's door. They called her uncle, Butcher Vachon, but he didn't know where she was at all. He just knew that she was in Florida. So WWE actually hired a private detective. It's a little creepy, but I guess at the time, what are you going to do? To actually find her. That's how much they wanted her to come back. Luna did finally come back, but it was to be, but it was to be Goldust's manager. So I wonder why they wanted her to come back that much just to put her as a manager, because I mean, who am I to say what they do with their money? Well, I mean, I have many things I could say they could do with their money, but it will make no difference and I'll just get mad. And anyway, I loved the pairing anyway of Luna and Goldust. They were so unhinged and they did not care, and their outfits were brilliant, but also a bit questionable, but brilliant. They were just so entertaining. They worked so well. Luna got another WrestleMania match from their rivalry with Mark Mera and Sable, and they had a mixed tag match. Because of Sable's upcoming Playboy shoot, Luna was specifically told not to injure or bruise the cash melons that were Sable. Sable pinned Luna for the win, unfortunately. I'm not saying Sable's name differently at all. That's just you. After all this, Luna challenged Sable to a one-on-one match. Well, if you can call it that. We get an evening gown match. between the two. Luna won, I guess, by stripping Sable down to her underwear. Yay. Luna was hurt and frustrated that the WWE World title would criminally never be hers. Never, ever. And that's even when they have a perfect match coming up where she could have won it and it just would have been, it's stupid. But Luna has stated in her own words that the wonderful Owen Hart and Bret Hart were really great confidants to her backstage. They would, sit there and they'd let her get it all out. They would talk to her about her matches, give her a little advice, but just basically just listen to her frustrations and treat her like an actual human being and treating her complaints like they're actual, real things, which they were. Like, honestly, could you imagine being Luna in this time and being so good and working so hard and yet being told by Thermal that she had been like guaranteed the title by the end of the year? I would be infuriated. So infuriated. And this is what unfortunately led to Luna being legit suspended from action after she had a real confrontation with Miss Thermal, seeing a newcomer who was over with the fans purely because she was in, like, quote unquote American skinny. Sorry, that's not a dig. Did I say American skinny? Well, I mean, yeah. I didn't mean to say American pretty though. Skinny as fuck, and she had big mama jumpers that she would show off seemingly willy-nilly. That's how it kind of came across on TV. I'm being very honest about that, but I'm also being very honest about the fact that in real life, that shit is very questionable as to how consensual all the stuff that she did on TV was. But wrestling, especially wrestling that's on the telly, is absolutely run by the fans' reactions. And all the fans went nanas at Global, and they just wanted to see tits and then jack off to the fantasy afterwards, like that's what sold, and that's what got the big pops. And that's what WWE wanted. It was absolutely lame, but yeah, that's what they wanted out of their women's wrestlers. Oh, you want to have a decent match that shows off what you've been working on in the ring with some well thought out storytelling? Why would you want to do that when you can wear this gown and then try and rip it off each other for 2 minutes? 2 whole minutes. Now that's entertaining. Mick McMahon has been accused of force pashing people. Well, pashing the women wrestlers backstage. I would just like to point that out. He would just, force pash anyone. And if you didn't allow him to force pash you, guess who got the shitty storylines? Ashley ringing any bells to anyone? I wonder if he ever tried to get this one over on Luna. Because I could imagine her like legit kicking him in the nuts, but I could also imagine that that fuckface would be mildly intelligent enough to like not even bother. But I do think the fact that he couldn't get there, or he didn't, or she wasn't making him want to get in there, would definitely like damage her opportunities. Yay. She came back though in 6 months to challenge for Ivory. Ivory, you are mine. Fuck your title. I want you. No, for Ivory's world title, but she was unsuccessful, and it was a hardcore match. This is what I was talking about before when I mentioned that there was a match coming up that would have been perfect for her to win the title. A hardcore match against Ivory. I love Ivory, but a hardcore match, and Ivory won. Riddle me this. That would have been perfect. Even if you just wanted to give it to her for like 2 months or something. Like, if you wanted to be a dick about it, fine. But, so yeah. When Luna came back, again, she was with her husband, Gangrel, as a manager, which she has quoted as saying was her favorite time in wrestling, which is really sweet. After Jacqueline won the world title, Luna was the first to challenge her for the title. but she didn't win it, and Gangrel would avenge her by putting Jacqueline in an inverted DDT. Who else had an inverted DDT? Leva Bates had an inverted DDT as her finisher. This led to a mixed tag match between Luna and Gangrel versus Jacqueline and, get this, Prince Albert. Does this ring bells to anyone? Am I the only one who's like, Prince Albert and Jacqueline? I mean, my brain's probably blanking out something, because kind of now is feeling familiar, but is that just because I've already had this thought before? We will never know. There was a final altercation backstage involving Luna, which I couldn't find any exact details of, but considering her real distaste of how sexualized and dumbed down women's wrestling was in WWE, it was inevitable that she would be released once again, and she was after this. The one thing Luna loved about being a part of WWE was the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Kind of sounds like that is a lot of the wrestlers' favorite parts. I'm now thinking about this with my suspicious brain, and I'm like, well, obviously they do it for some other sort of like taxi reasons or something, but do they make a wish for the wrestlers to try and keep them on board? Like that little serotonin injection from like bringing a smile to a very sick child's face. They dangle it over you like a little treaty. I don't know. I'm just imagining WWE's management is just like some sick like puppeteers who just dangle things over everyone and go, you'll dance for this and you will love it. Anyway, when Luna came, no, I've already done that part. We were just talking about the Prince Albert thing, because what the fuck? There was a final altercation backstage involving Luna. Hang on. I did that part. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I did that part, and what I did was I went all rambly about the Make-A-Wish Foundation thing again. Too many rambles, too many confusions. But anyway, she really loved visiting the kids, is what I have to say about that. On the independents, Luna Vachon managed Gangrel, and she also wrestled. She toured Puerto Rico again, and also Australia, Germany, and Britain. Luna Vachon would become the first ever Great Lakes champion. Oh, here we go. Great Lakes Championship Wrestling's ladies champion. And retired as champ in 2007. She defeated Tracy Brooks. And yes, Tracy Brooks is that Tracy Brooks, the one that is officially considered by TNA and Impact as the first ever official knockout. I did not know that. I remember Tracy Brooks from Beer Money, I think. Was she with Kazarian? Maybe it was Kazarian. Who fucking knows? Now's not the time to waffle back in my brain. Luna Vachon died on the 27th of August, 2010. She was cool as fuck and loved women's wrestling. I reckon she would really love to see what's going on right now in women's wrestling. I think that would really fill her heart with joy. I wish China could see what's happened in wrestling now. I'd love her to be able to see Stat versus Bane. Hey, both of them, right? That'd be so good. So that's it. That is all I have to say to you in any official capacity. I really hope that you've enjoyed listening to me blabble on, as I always do in this thing. It's my favorite thing to do, is to talk about wrestling. Whether or not it's for hours, minutes, or anything, I will talk until my voice goes hoarse. But that is all we have today. It was a really, 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 really good week for wrestling. We are just flying from Revolution, running straight into Dynasty, which I cannot wait. When we do the Dynasty pay-per-view, we will be doing, hang on. Oh, I have to do that again because my computer just went bloom. We'll be reviewing that pay-per-view, and it will be awesome already. I can already tell. We've got some great matches coming up. I'm not quite sure what we have coming up on Collision and Ring of Honor just yet, but by the time this comes out, we'll all know and it'll be brilliant. So I will bid you adieu. Insert Kenny Omega's parting words right here. Oh, one last swoon for Kenny, everyone. When he was basking in that fire. Oh, such a magical moment. Anyway, everyone get your minds out of the gutter, and you will see me later. Well, you'll hear me later. You can find this wonderful podcast on YouTube. Don't Call Me Diva, iHeartRadio, Audible, Spotify, and so many others that I can't remember off the top of my head, but go have a look no matter where you are, because we'll be there. You can find me rabbling on Threads and also Blue Sky. On Threads, I'm Bex_Bastet. On Blue Sky, I'm Bex the Destroyer. So you just better watch out. Thank you to Ethos Media, because they are awesome and helping me with this podcast. We fucking rule. Go visit sickosclub.com for all the wonderfulness on there. Go join everyone on Threads. We're all talking about AEW on Threads. It's a happy, happy place. We've got a really big, lovely community on there now. So if you want to join and you want to find us, at sickosclub.com is a thing that a lot of us have already followed. So if you follow that, you might, be able to connect through there, or just put up a little holla. Holla my sickos with a hashtag AEW Threads, and one of us are bound to find you. There's many, many of us there all around the world, and we're brilliant. And when someone's being a dick, people are allowed to be a dick, but actually, no, people aren't allowed to be a dick. You can be a little dumb, but you can't be a dick, all right? That's the sign off of this show, is don't be a dick. And we're just going to stick with that. All right, on that really stern word. All right, later, motherfuckers. Don't be a dick.
How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.